Imagine getting $10,000 of value completely for free. That's exactly what you're gonna get in this video. So, last month I hosted a mastermind in my own villa where tickets cost upwards of $10,000 each. During my speech, I revealed how I scaled my business and made millions of dollars online through Shopify. And here's the crazy part. I took exactly what I shared during that speech and applied it to another business. The result, it went from 0 to 100K a month in just 3 months. See, this strategy works, and I genuinely believe it's the best online business advice available on the internet. And now you're getting it 100% for free. I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you in there. You have your eternal markets of these, right? So you've got, I said these before, but I'll write them down. And then you have the force multipliers of the another 3 things, which is always this. This is why anyone buys anything. And this is where, particularly so if you have competitors, these are your points of leverage in terms of having a strategic or individual point of difference. Okay, because everyone wants things faster, better, and cheaper. All right, it's how Bezos set up Amazon, is that kind of speed to delivery. Okay, seamless, loads of choice, and then the flywheel on the back end, which attracts more customers, which then attracts more vendors, and that doesn't stop, that compounds over time. If you can't think of a strategic point of difference in the product, you can use these to advantage. You can undercut them on cost, make something that's better quality, or something that delivers faster. I don't mean like actual physical delivery, I mean it gets them speed to results quicker.
Yeah.
Make sense?
The result when they use the product.
Yeah, exactly, the transformation, the end point. That makes sense? Cool. Travis, what would you say for you on customer? We're focusing basically on who you're selling to.
Yeah, so it's, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Men 20 to 35, typically they're in metropolitan areas. They're either college students, young professionals in finance, accounting, or entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Typically they consider themselves high achievers, which goes hand in hand with they're overworked and overstressed, like heavily caffeinated or on things like Adderall, and they understand that health is their foundation that leads to fuller buckets, health, wealth, love, and happiness. And they're tired of, they've tried optimizing their sleep, they've tried optimizing their diet, they've tried tons of supplements, and they're succeeding, but they don't feel like they have it fully optimized.
Yeah.
So that's where we introduce the problem, which is you fix your gut, you can optimize your health.
Yeah.
The specific mechanism that I've found that our competitors are not leaning on is the fact that gut health actually affects brain functioning and brain fog. All the competitors are just going in general immunity, bloating, and digestion.
Makes sense. And then that's like a secondary or tertiary point for you that's going to differentiate, particularly so the timing, because the gut-brain connection science now is definitely emerging. And to answer the question, you're someone who would use the product yourself, right?
100%.
Yeah. And
that was when we were a couple weeks ago, that was like having difficulty trying to figure out women's problems because I was going to market towards women, and I quickly realized I'm a dude, so I don't understand their problems.
Yeah, absolutely. So sell to yourself.
Yeah.
We have many bloating problems, we have many things happening with our gut.
Yeah.
More validation here. I think there's space for, there's always an angle in any market though, right? But it depends on what you're selling. And again, if you can use assertion, use hypothesis, or if you can actually use personal experience, because you are the target audience, you are the niche.
100%.
Niche, same thing.
Has everyone here done like a competitive analysis? That was super helpful for me.
Yeah.
I've never done like a proper one, really, with like, I've checked it out.
Great.
Yeah.
In terms of getting inspiration from looking at what's working, what's not working, instead of you having to reinvent the wheel, success leaves clues, model the traits of the greats, all of this stuff is so much easier and downstream for you, because it's already difficult as it is, right? You're learning a lot of new systems and ways of operating. This is not exhaustive list at all. So if you can see what's working for others and emulate, whether that's their website, their funnel, their ads, their social media strategy, all of this stuff. Was there anything in particular that stood out to you, Travis, about that? And what was the key take home? Yeah, just on your competitor analysis, what was the key learning?
I would say, so the two things that help me get super clear during the competitive analysis, you can just see the landscape of how they're branding and who they're branding to, and like the strategy behind it. And then you can very quickly identify what the gap is in the market and like what mechanism you can use to fill that gap. And then the second part of it that helped me massively was once I identified that, I drew up a general avatar. And if you speak, you can speak into ChatGPT, basically describing your avatar in detail, and then you can have it basically, you can put the competitor analysis in it, plug it into ChatGPT, and it'll basically help you define avatar into like even the psychodynamics behind it. So like their fears, their goals, their desires. And once you really figure out those like deep-rooted triggers, it helps become a lot more clear in your brand messaging. So that was very helpful for me doing that.
Yeah, I agree. The key thing is know thy customer.
Know what?
Know thy customer. Know your customer.
Sabri Subi's Kong AI.
Yeah.
I used his. It's actually really good.
It's good?
For the avatar.
Let's have a look. Do you want to bring that up on screen? Sabri's.
He has an AI.
Yeah.
He basically, his like offers, like we'll go into stalker level detail on your avatar. So I did it, and it asks a couple questions about the avatar, and then they do a deep dive on your avatar, and they create an avatar for you. And obviously you have to tweak it a little bit, but it gives you a good framework. Yeah, you have to apply, and then it takes a couple days to get an email back, and then it's like $99 a month. And they also, they'll develop headlines for you, and they'll develop offers for you in some email sequences as well.
Like, how do you feed the data?
They ask you questions, like there's a bunch of questions, you fill them out about your avatar and your product, and then they spin it up for you.
This is like way more specific for consumer avatar profiling.
I would actually say that the competitor analysis was more important. You just get like 20 of your competitors and you break down every single detail about their offer, their market, their avatar, their strategy, everything. It takes 3-4 days to do it, but it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it, particularly so when you come to performance marketing, because as I said, your ammunition is you need to know more about them than they know about themselves. You need to be able to anticipate their next move and their problems, and then position your product, service, whatever, as the ultimate solution. And you can't do that unless you have that thorough understanding, and not just problems, like their fears, their desires. And then when you have them, you ask, so what? 2 or 3 times. Me and Rob did this a few weeks back, and it's actually really difficult because you think the surface level problem is the problem, but 9 times out of 10 it's not. That's not what they're actually looking for. So it's definitely worth doing it, because this feeds directly into your front end copy, what you get your influencers to talk about, your creators, your landing page, all of your emails, because essentially you want to be able to test, always in scientist mode, you want to be able to test different angles. You need to know what the problems are. We're led by problems. This is what pops out. This is the pattern interrupt. So if you can do a deep dive and really know and understand them, or if you don't, try and anticipate them and then test them. This is all e-commerce. E-commerce is just constant iteration and testing. It doesn't stop. Because even when you find something that works, you find a winning ad, a winning angle, eventually it'll bottom out. But you have to be able to ride the wave and find the thing in the first place. It's not easy though. As much as Facebook will allow you, assuming you're talking about Facebook. Yeah, as much as you can, not allow you. But I still don't think there's one true right and wrong way to be able to do that. You try scaling horizontally, vertically, applying more budget. Some things work, some things don't. It's very difficult to do, but not impossible. Okay, it's like strike while the iron's hot type thing. When you get it, try and double down, but the rule is something like no more than 20% a day or every few days.
I know.
Yeah. Or it'll bottom out and your CP will go through the roof, one of the two. That's the challenge. Yeah. So like with one of the golf brands they've just literally had their best month ever last month, because the last best one was like Black Friday last month, but this one didn't do any sale. This is just compound. And we get to the point of like, okay, how far can we continue to scale and push without things starting to bottom out? And what seems to have worked is bringing it up and then bringing it down, then bringing it up again and then bringing it down. Incrementally, say like once a week, increase it, it'll start to bottom out, let it level out, and then the CPAs will balance and then push it up again. This has been the best thing that we've found.
What's your reduction percentage?
But it depends, like 20%, in and around that. But I can't say this is gold standard because it's different for everyone. It's different for every brand. And then you also have the added complexity of seasonality. If certain products do well in certain seasons, you have to factor that in. Or if you're running like promotions and stuff. I personally don't like running promotions in brands because it devalues things a little bit. I'm very much of the price high and justify one hero product, and then you leverage the supply and demand thing to be able to create artificial scarcity. Because if it's something like overly available, they don't appreciate it. And that was the one good thing with my nutrition brand, is we literally at one point couldn't produce it fast enough to service demand. So last year even, we were out of stock from September to December. Couldn't produce stock fast enough, and that almost killed us. Black Friday is always the best one. It depends, because it can be, we don't run the same offer, because it can be bundle led, it can be percentage discount off, it can be get a free product. For one of the golf brands this year, we've split it between existing customers and new customers. New customers have 3 offers to choose from, existing customers have 2 offers to choose from, because they're going to want different things. But it's different for a supplement brand, particularly because it's a consumable. Whereas if I'm talking about a golf brand, if they're buying a new iron set, this should last them for years, so they don't need the same offers on the front end as a new customer would. So again, it's just understanding your customers and also your product use and utility also comes into play. This is why I say there's no one gold standard. You need to understand what makes your target market click, and sometimes a good way to do that is to model what others are doing already. Competitive analysis again, every single time, try and take inspiration. I would say for every one of the brands I've worked with, there has been one market leader that you emulate. Okay, so say for my nutrition brand, it was Huel. For say one of the golf brands, Tacoma, there's always one who's like flying. They're really well funded. They got VC capital, etc. They have like media teams, all of this stuff. They're doing really good things, and you can see it's working. So they blaze the trail a little bit. So you just take inspiration, emulate it, but change it. Still make it your own. You don't just want to directly copy, because then it's too easy for you to be extinguished. And this is the thing with e-com as well that I don't like about dropshipping. Honestly, I didn't even know what dropshipping was until like last year. I'd never done dropshipping. I've always just built brands. Dropshipping, like in the typical sense, is you find products you think will sell, you build a landing page and ads, and then just filter through it, pump and dump. Try and find something, ride the wave and go again. Start every new month at zero. And that to me sounds stressful as hell. Like anything I want to build, I want to have brand equity built, because the thing with e-com is, yes, you're able to cash flow, but the payday is on exit. This is when you make your money on exit, because you have brand equity. People know, like, and trust you. Ideally, you have good retention. So you're a good proposition for a third-party company to come in and acquire you. It's like normally like a strategic acquisition. That's what they would buy you for. They have existing infrastructure. You have something they don't, whether it's even just like customer data or trust, whatever it is, that they can plug in to their existing systems at scale. Use my nutrition company as an example. I've cornered off a niche of the market that hasn't been boxed off before. So I'm bought by something like the Hut Group, for example, who own My Protein, all those, like one of the biggest ones in Europe. They now have a whole new market segment opened up to them that it didn't have before. They take all of your existing cash flow, plug it into there so they get more profit, but they have existing infrastructure, which means they can actually boost the margins because they already have staff, they have manufacturing, they have distribution all in-house already. So they can take what's expensive for you, plug it into their existing infrastructure and rocket it. And also they have unlimited budget. So strategically, buying brands for big brands makes sense. And this is what most e-com brands do. So if you're talking about a $200 million exit, that will come when you sell the company. Make sense? But to get there, it's not a straight line, unfortunately. But as I always say, I don't think there's actually been a better time to get into it than now, because the barrier to entry is low. The difficulty is in performance marketing. And this is where most fall down. They ride the wave in of enthusiasm of a new brand, a new product, shiny new systems, etc. And then it goes back into the day-to-day stuff of the grind that no one sees, and just those tasks you don't want to do, that you don't enjoy doing, that you have to do because no one's going to do it for you. That's when it gets difficult. And this is where like the mindset stuff comes in. And this is why this links back down to what we said at the start, is what's your why? The right why will overcome any how, because it's not supposed to be easy. You know that. I can say that all day. But it's all about what are you going to do and think outside of the box to apply to yourself, your ways of working, what you do, when you do. Because remember, as an entrepreneur, you don't have a boss, you're the boss. So you don't have anyone telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, what not to do. So you're finding your way a lot in the dark, and this is where it gets difficult. Because we all have a finite amount of energy in the day. We all have the same amount of hours in the day, so it's how do you use those productively to ensure that you're growing and pushing the brand forward. Do any of you struggle with that at the minute, just like time and energy management?
The right why will overcome any...
How? How do you find that, Travis, with the time, attention, energy management?
I struggled with it for a long time, but I've kind of like learned how to systematize it for myself.
Yeah.
So.
Have you systematized it yet or not?
I don't know if you guys heard of the concept of a hierarchy versus a hierarchy.
Nope.
It's basically, a hierarchy is like when all your like needs and your priorities are even and equal. Hierarchy is obviously when you order them. So basically, I've just spent a lot of time like prioritizing things in my life that are like priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. It's like the premise of a power list. So it's effectively every single day really distilling down what is the most important task.
Yeah.
And then locking in on getting that task done and not moving on until that's done.
That's good.
And when I get caught up, your subconscious is talking to you like crazy. It's just to dump it, reorganize, and then execute on it.
Yeah.
That's helped me a lot.
Anyone here have a normal day routine or not? Do you have a routine, like a day plan or routine that you normally follow?
I don't follow.
No?
I I also tried following very strictly, but it doesn't work for me.
Okay.
I have like usually 1 4-hour block
Yes.
where I'm like sitting down and like deep work.
Yeah.
And other than that, I try to do either ice bath or any workout in the morning.
Yeah.
As soon as I wake up, because that I just find it I'm so much more productive. Eat not a lot of carbs, and then however the day plays out.
Yeah.
I optimize myself and end up doing more. You know?
What, so you're over-optimized?
And yeah,
Okay, what does that look like?
overwhelmed with how many things I'm giving myself.
Okay.
Because I've structured it so detailed.
Okay.
That I just don't leave leeway.
Okay, so it's almost like too much operational. And do you then feel overwhelmed?
Yeah.
And then do you get nothing done?
Get stuff done.
But do you feel like you can't do like 4 hours on your laptop but do nothing?
Yeah.
I can do when I work with half then like
And in the morning you have this testosterone spike, so that's when you can get like shoot down the easiest, because you have this motivation.
Correct.
But still, I like to do a workout because I feel energized.
And when you get back from the gym, do you feel fresh, ready to go?
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, when you're going through something, and as our period comes, that's like, it's
Yeah.
hard for
Yeah.
us to.
That really helps for me. I said things.
That was improv.
Yeah.
I'm Rob Moore back in the UK. So not related, but property millionaire. There's a good book called, and he talks about IGTs, which stand for, actually I put it high, life leverage.
Income generating tasks.
Yeah, so high IGTs. So you have high IGTs and low IGTs, okay? Income generating tasks. And this is your job as the entrepreneur, as the CEO, as the founder, whatever you want to call yourself, is to understand not time management, but energy management, okay? Can't manage time. You can only manage your energy. And personally, I think because we're all probably like more creatives than doers, or still analytical, but you have a finite amount of creative energy every day that resets, okay? And if you don't use that energy, or if you don't optimize or set up your environment, or your diet, or your training, or your sleep, to be able to optimize for these, it's very difficult to get things done, because then you go back into reactive mode. And most times, it's other people's perceived emergencies that end up taking up your time. Someone wants something done, or you've got to do this, or you promised you would do that, and then you, because you're not accountable to anyone other than yourself as a business owner, you don't have a boss. There's no like consequences to your action or inaction other than you kick the can down the road and you don't get what needs to be done. This is when it becomes more difficult, because you have to be self-motivated and very self-reliant, and energy management is like the key to this. I would say 4 hours, for me anyway, I have 4 hours of deep undistracted work. That's it. When I'm in those deep work modes, ask the guys, I'm completely, it's like I'm zoned out. Noise cancelling earpods in, locked in, time doesn't exist. Literally, time doesn't exist. You can use task timers, or if I've refined my routine over years to see what works, but nothing distracts me, and I know ahead of time what I'm going to be working on. Okay, the proxy I used to use was plan tomorrow today, because you don't want to spend too much time in the reactive side of things, because the reactive things generally don't make you money. You're just problem solving. Question to ask yourself is, and this will evolve and change over time as you go through the different stages of business, is do you know what your high income generating tasks are right now? And if so, tell me.
Ads right now, about to launch.
Yeah.
I got the email set up.
Cool.
I think ads would be
Yeah.
custom acquisitions.
Okay, so ads, what would you say yours is? Your income, like your highest priority income generating task, what would you say that is? That's good. It's really good.
But what I'm doing is organically, so I collaborate with different models. And these models, so when they post and then people follow us, so probably if I run ads.
Okay, but in terms of what holds you back, are you limited by outreach? Would you say that's what it is? Do you do outreach? So do you reach out to other creators or influencers? You do? Okay. And do you have that systematized? Is there a way, because that to me is a more administrative task, but it still takes a little bit of creativity to know who to reach out to. Okay. So what's like the most important thing you need to do every day in order to make progress? Would you say that's it?
Yes, that's it.
Outreach.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
yes.
cool. What about you, Naomi?
my
Website.
I think I want to put things are so simple, and I think I'm just trying to
Overcomplicate it.
I think I need to like stop overthinking and just I can complete it in one day.
You're a web designer as well, right?
Yeah, I want to be
No,
too
perfect.
much. Like,
Remember, start small and scale.
it's ruining
Yeah.
like my time a little bit because I have changed the banner to be like 100 times yesterday.
Important.
So and I'm just seeing this now and I'm like, okay, it's so easy, you know. And
Yeah.
People want easier.
Yeah.
I just need to like make it done in one day, like. 'Cause I
Start
can't
small
do
and
it in
scale.
one day, you know. I just need to fucking focus on it, like.
Yeah.
The important things I know, like how to build the landing page to actually do it and not asking myself about like the design or something.
Travis, what are you saying?
Just completing the landing pages and then getting the email flow set up. A lot of overcomplicating it and trying to make it perfect as opposed to just getting an MVP.
Yes.
Yeah.
MVP in the beginning is the key.
Yeah. Most valuable product.
Minimal viable product.
Minimal viable.
Yeah. And getting proof of concept, and then you layer in complexity once you have something to contrast against, or once you start getting certain questions or objections from consumers. All right. So the best way, as I said before, especially if you're in the landing page web design side of things, is success leaves clues. If you're in the ad stage, success leaves clues. What are the big guys doing? How can we emulate it? Easiest way. What would you say?
Real quick, someone was struggling with the outreach because there's an AI bot that you can use for the creator outreach. You should definitely look into that.
Anna?
Instagram outreach? What do you use? How do you outreach?
What do you use to outreach to creators?
Messages. Like
On Instagram though?
directly on Instagram.
What's the AI software?
I can find it, but it's specifically for TikTok Shop, but people have been using it for every platform.
Automation on
Please
Instagram.
send
Yeah,
it to me,
right.
bro. I'm interested.
There's one.
There is
Yeah.
TikTok
Yeah.
outreach. You can outreach to affiliates automatically, hundreds automatically, automated.
You mean like in
It's
the
a bot.
platform?
Yeah, it's about. They'll send the messages. There's a bunch, but I gotta find the one that I use. But that's just for TikTok. Instagram, you gotta be careful.
There's one that I know.
Don't end up like me. I haven't even done any outreach. Don't do that.
So I actually build influencer outreach systems.
Oh yeah.
I build it first thing through DMs every day with personalized.
What's the good thing about my brand also is a bunch of girls reaching out.
They come to you.
Yes, they
Perfect.
come to me. So it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Because they want free product. They don't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to spend money.
Yeah.
They want free product.
That's smart.
That's
Perfect.
cool for me. I've never paid anyone for my models.
good.
So that's a good thing. I save a lot of money with models. I don't pay for it.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to you about. The affiliate system for my nutrition brand is, yes, you can have an outreach team, but over time, when word spreads, they will come to you. Eventually, they will come to you. Particularly so if they have high affinity. By high affinity means they're actually relevant customers. And then if they have distribution, and by distribution I mean they have an engaged audience. Remember, no one cares about a follower count. The only thing that matters is engagement.
Yeah.
All right. The thing I learned at the last mastermind with Dan Bolton was that likes ain't cash. Okay.
Likes and tags.
Likes ain't cash. Okay. Doesn't really make a difference. It's all about engagement and click through. Okay. So when you're optimizing, this is why I'm saying the messaging needs to be refined, because you can have a lot of that stuff, but if it doesn't translate into sales in the back end, it doesn't make a difference. Okay. It's all optics, although it still helps. Okay. The optics are still important. Okay. Hugo, what would you say? Highest, or your most important tasks?
Generating tasks,
Yeah.
just doing story on Instagram and posting reels.
Yeah. And is there anything that kind of stops you from doing that as well? No. And that's consistently what you can do
I have a
over time.
photographer editor. And
Yeah.
we post 3 to 7 reels a day.
Wow.
7.
7.
Wow. You get why is it 7?
Because the views that I get, it comes from the following people and unfollowing people. So when you have 50,000 followers and your views are just 50,000, all the people who are watching are just your followers,
Yeah.
you're not reaching new customers. So your main goal is to reach new customers. It's just a math game.
So
You just throw your thing many times to the ocean.
And do you get a lot of views from doing that?
Last month we generated like 40,
For one video?
no, 5 videos a day, and 30 days, 150 videos
So together,
together,
you generate
40 million.
On Instagram?
Instagram.
It's funny, sometimes if I get lucky, if I post one video in my other platform, I get 5 million views.
And the thing is, if you find that kind of video, just duplicate it and double down.
Yeah.
Same concept.
Yeah, same concept, yeah.
I've been using one strategy for the last 2 months, and we have generated like 60, 70 million views, and I gained like 70,000
And what
followers.
is that?
It's just black background, horizontal video. That's it. Super easy. Yes. Because the thing is this, when you watch like Instagram, it's all vertical, right? All the videos are vertical. So when you see this kind of like small video, it's a patron interrupt.
Yeah.
So people engage more. And there are some audios that are like really trending, that has over 1 million shares. Those audios are the hypnosis audio. So it just hypnotize you to tune into the video to 60 to 90 seconds. So algorithm pushes that.
Find all this audio.
Oh, it's just everywhere. You just do the content research, most popular ones.
Trending audio?
Yes. So when you go to the professional dashboard, at the bottom there is trending audio, right? So you just research from here every day what audio is trending and write the name of the audio to search box and see how many variations are there. Some are slowed, some are reversed, some are faster, and see the numbers, like how many shares it has. Maybe 200,000 people have used it. Okay, this audio is working well. But it doesn't mean that it's trendy now, it just hypnotizes people.
Yeah.
It just bring more people into the video. So use that audio and horizontal videos.
So important, just in general. Like I said before, the gold standard now for e-com company is first and foremost you're a media company, right? Like being able to pitch and sell and hold attention while selling a product is difficult because no one goes on, particularly to Instagram, to be sold to, right? No one likes to see ads really, right? The challenge becomes how can you position your product indirectly so it looks native to platform, so it's like technically disguised, and then through narrative you're selling the product but you're not selling the product. So I don't know, you see a lot of these in maybe the beauty niche where they start off with a problem and then they take them through the narrative and say I've got the secret skincare routine, and then they talk about the product but they don't sell the product. Make sense? It's this type of engaging content that actually works, because as opposed to just being like a static ad, which can still work if they are product or brand aware, it's just things that you can build in, because this becomes the most important and also the most time consuming part of running an e-com brand is your content strategy.
A bunch of people now do lifestyle instead of selling the product. So they would be like, for example,
User generated.
Yes, because people actually want, because there's story behind it, not just, I'm selling this skincare, you should buy it.
Yeah, because the level of consumer sophistication over time compared to 10 years ago is completely different, because now they know what an ad looks like. They know if someone's been paid to position a product. Whereas like 10 years ago, when there's influencer, like the Gymshark era, no one was really savvy with that. You could get like a few hench guys to wear the stuff and talk about it, and they would just genuinely think they were being authentic. They wouldn't think there's like a kickback or an affiliate thing going on there. So now, because consumers are more aware, you have to be more clever as a marketer to do that, and that's where the kind of strategy comes in. Just think about why anyone goes onto social media. Most of the time, it's because they want to be entertained. YouTube, for example, they want to be educated. Okay, so if you can create content that's going to be around that, it's actually engaging, it's funny, people like to share stuff. It's a concealed ad, if that makes sense. It's an ad, but it's not an ad. Okay, you're building in narrative. For example, I don't know, I'm just thinking golf at the minute, but if you want to hit a certain type of shot, golf, you want to hit a long straight drive, the video is literally how to hit a long straight drive, and then you just so happen to be holding your product. Make sense? Yeah. So it's like indirect subliminal, but I'm talking about organic. Okay? Subliminal is the word.
Conscious, you don't realize.
You're always building in the law of reciprocity. Law of reciprocity is you give before you take. Okay, you educate, you entertain, all of those things where it's like you're not just going straight for the kill. Think about this whole customer acquisition thing as like the same concept as dating. All right, you don't meet someone and then get married straight away. You take them on this courtship of getting to know each other. It does happen, but it doesn't always end very well. So you have to nurture, get to know, although it's digital touch points, not physical touch points. Remember, your consumers can't see, touch, feel, hold your product. Okay, so this is where you build in systems, and this is why your funnel is important. How many of you are going to be running ads? Everyone, apart from Anna, because you've got the content dialed in, basically, right? Okay, but once that payment is set up, then you should be okay. And do you actually want to run ads to scale, or do you have enough volume?
100%.
Okay, do you have anything to share with anyone about organic strategy?
I think it helps a lot with my sales. Helps a lot because they share the product to their followers, and they
You just get a free product?
give them free product. They reach out to me, and I'll give you the product that you want.
Yeah, so it's again this reciprocal relationship, right? In terms of getting reach, I've worked with brands who have been completely organic, no paid ads, and they've still done well. They've still done well. However, They don't have a reliable input-output system if they want to scale. They are completely dependent on the algorithm. This is the only thing I don't like about it, is no, we're all bitches to the algorithm, right? Let's be honest. We don't get to choose if a piece of content pops off or not, okay? And also you can post the same video on the same time on probably duplicate accounts. One will do well, one won't do anything. It's why, you don't know.
I see the difference in my reach when I was doing it before. It depends on the person as well. It depends on the creator, influencer that I do shoot. So one time I was doing a big shoot and I reached like 1 million shooting.
Yeah. The other side of it as well is saying likes ain't cash. And what I mean by that is, we were talking about Mike Thurston yesterday, okay? And how he has incredible reach on YouTube, but they find it very hard to monetize because having a lot of followers, even a lot of engagement, does not necessarily mean they are highly affiliated to buying whatever product you're selling. So that's the other difficulty of it. And I'm not saying you can't do this, I'm just saying it's more difficult if you can't monetize and run ads because you can't control. It's literally, it's like a shot in the dark basically every time you post content, but your controllables become the narrative, what's worked before, what's working for other brands, so you have at least an indication. But if you start every new month at 0, and I assume, dangerous word, in fashion you don't or aren't able to build in monthly recurring revenue, how do you forecast for the month to know, or predictably, I don't know, whether it's inventory control, how do you know how much you're going to sell? Exactly, and this is where having systems in place like paid ads allow you to do it, because you get that function machine.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm lacking.
Is there a correlation between how many views you get and how many sales you get or not?
Yeah.
But is there a direct correlation? So you say you're making about 20k a month.
So my sales lately,
Yeah.
because I don't know what happened, because I stopped shooting because I have a lot of content already, and it's exhausting shooting. It's a lot of work organizing, shooting, finding models. My sales went like
Only because you stopped producing content.
Organic marketing, which is I'm just shooting with girls.
Okay, so you have a business that is completely dependent on you. How do you feel about that?
So I'm in this moment where focusing on my personal growth, which is like my spiritual, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lie low a bit.
Okay.
Because I'm worrying too much. Why am I worrying too much? I felt like I'm gonna be happy if I reach this amount of money and I have it, but I'm not. I feel empty, like purpose. Where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work on myself. It's okay earning this much money, but giving my time a little break, because I've worked when I was 12 until now I'm 28. I'm still working.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess I deserve a little break.
Is there a way you can remove yourself? This is the thing with personal brands, it's all about you, right? Everyone wants to see you. Is there a way you can utilize leverage of some other form, whether it's like reposting? Because otherwise, like it's always going to be dependent. You are the single point of failure. That's what I'm saying.
I'm also the model. That's what I'm trying to do. Like, how can I?
Yes.
Designate me so I can live my life. You know, that's what I'm working on. I don't know yet how to answer that. But
so it's divorcing income from time, basically. Or is it about leveraging? Because instead of doing it every day, can you do 1 or 2 shoots a month where you shoot everything and then you give it to a team to disperse?
I can do that, yes, but
what's the resistance?
I don't really trust people, so they fucked up the shoot and then we just waste time and this.
Okay. But would you not be there as part of the shoot anyway, though, if you have a power team or something? But do you want to leverage other models to be able to position, yeah? Okay. And what's the cap on that? What's stopping you from doing that? Is it time and attention and focus? Is it an ability to find them? Is it workload?
It's easy also to find someone who knows what they're doing. And hard. Like,
okay.
Okay. Now my team, then we just wasted that time. Now she doesn't post.
My thing with hiring is hire where it hurts and then hire slow, fire fast, okay? Because you cannot afford to be held up by something or someone else, okay? Ideally, you never want to be the bottleneck. How can you, again, it's all, I don't have the answers to your problems, but just ways of thinking. Is there a way you can filter through a lot more people more quick so you actually build this power team of A players? Or is there a way that you can attract them and then vet them and then ascertain how good are they at what they say they do? Because anyone can say anything. The only thing that matters is what they do or what they don't do, right? Otherwise you'll continue to have the roadblock. And it won't matter what you do on this side if this is going to be like the blockage you have to get past that first.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, I have a team, small, like my assistant worked for me for almost a year. Even though I teach her don't know, they're just so hard to learn
like
here.
Yeah.
Do you notice that people here? Like, they're just, do you notice the people?
I think the first problem is hiring locals sometimes.
Yeah.
They're inherently, for want of a better phrase, not motivated or lazy
Yes.
because they have such a chill,
Yes,
laid-back
it's
life.
hard.
There's 300 ceremonies every year.
Yes.
Can you pay a bit more to get someone who's more reliable and better at what they do, and then they're plug and play?
And that's what I've realized. You know, I'd rather pay someone like, you know, more and then do a better job.
Yeah. So that could be like a solution.
I want everything to be like.
But that's the desired situation, right? To go there, you've got to go through a lot of like trial and error, and you've got to go through a lot of people, unfortunately. But when you get them and they're highly motivated and they're good,
I'm learning.
never stop learning, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The paid ads is, especially aiming to first world countries, is expensive, right?
No.
How do you
It depends. That depends on your ability as a marketer. It's all about how efficient you are as a marketer, and then how you set your systems up. Because it's not just about ads. It's about narrative. It's about systems on the back end. It's about knowing your customer and also having a good product.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How do you know your customer? In marketing, you need to know your
Yeah.
customer. How do you actually know them and know what they do? Blah, 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 all these details.
Relationships with them. Again, use my nutrition brand as an example. I have personal direct outreach from my customer service team and also from my own email. And I incentivize them to tell me about them, what their problem is. Let me show you. Don't listen to what I say, let me show you, okay? For however many years, okay, I have an email that goes out to my customers. I'm logged in.
What does it cost to have photo shoot here in Bali?
I had a known photographer. Actually, he's my best
Hmm?
friend. He's my photographer since I was 16. I hired him to work for me here. But then I hired a local one, which is good enough.
Just right.
It costs you like $300, $200.
$200 to
Oh.
$300.
Yeah. If you go to
So
an
sensitive.
agency, it will depend on the model as well. You know,
I'm just
there's
gonna keep this
platform
still,
models
guys.
and
Does the followers matter?
No. No.
Only the
You
face, body.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, depends on.
I'll wait till Jordan comes back for this because it'd be quite good for him to know.
Roughly, $200 per hour.
$200 per hour.
Yeah.
The photographer is one full day is 200, right?
No, you pay so it depends on the photographer as well. Sometimes they give you like a.
For Jordan, and I'll run through this. All right, I'll show him after. Basically, so I want. Oh no! Do not be power cutting now.
The internet goes
Great
down.
time. I think we're all jumping by
Fuck. Yeah, literally.
Break.
Fuck.
Yeah, perfect time.
It's gonna get so hot. Every time someone buys anything from me, I have an automation. We're refreshing all these floors at the minute, so they might look a bit shit. But basically, I have an email directly from my customer service team, okay? And this is timed perfectly around how long it takes for the product to actually arrive with the consumer, okay? So first one is this, check-in. And this is all about retention. We're gonna box it off, okay? This is how you build close bond relationships with your consumers, so when you get them, you keep them, okay? Because particularly with supplement brands, you don't have a lot of meat on the bones. By meat on the bones, you don't have a lot of margin. If you're selling, particularly for you, if you're selling and you're undercutting, that's your kind of one of your key value propositions. Anyway, so I don't know if you caught any of that, but basically on the back end systems, everything is very carefully architected to when you get a customer, you keep a customer because you don't have high margins on a supplement. Okay, you make your money on the back end generally, and particularly so once you factored in acquisition costs. So this is very important for me. So first and foremost, I build a relationship between the customer service team and the consumer. This is to make sure that if there are any problems, we nip them in the bud. We do not want any bad reviews. Okay, this brand's like got almost 5 stars on Trustpilot, like authentic. You can't make that stuff up. Okay, it's very hard to do, but it's all because we nurture consumers. All right. So first one that comes out is this, directly from our customer service. It's actually directly from our customer service team. One of my guys, Adam. Rich text as well. No formatting, super easy, so it looks authentic. It doesn't look like a branded thing with like images and stuff. So it's just checking in. Hi, how are you? You can say, all right, want to make sure everything's okay. Any problems, you can send me a message, basically. That's the first one. And then as we go down, we'll keep checking in, seeing what's going on. There'll be one directly from me, I think. There you go. Okay. Now, this is very important because this is how I get to know my consumer. All right. So this is leveraged. Okay. So we basically know the average of how long it's going to take for them to come back. Okay. So this comes back, and now it's pretty much obvious. Do you want £5 off your next order? Obviously. Okay. If so, I want to check in. Tell me about the product. And it's just these 3 questions. All right. It's just this. What or who convinced you to buy the product? The reason this is important is because if I need to acquire customers, I need to know where they heard about us. right? Remember, in e-com, we only make data-driven decisions. Anything assumption-based is always dangerous, okay? So now I have information as to where did they hear about us. If I see enough patterns or commonalities in where they're first hearing about us, now I know how to spend budget and allocate time, effort, energy, and resource. Second one, what challenges are we trying to solve? If I understand their challenges, now I understand what to market to, okay? And I use their language to market to them, not my language. I'm not a parent, I don't know it, okay? And third one, if I could design anything, what would it be? Now, future forecasting, I want to know what I'm trying to get across are where are the redundancies in the product? What problems isn't it solving? And if we were to design something, what would it be? If I get enough of these, I look for the trends, then I know, okay, there's my next product. Because it's not me telling the market, it's the market telling me. This is every single one ever. Okay, this will just like an infinite scroll. And this is parents' languages, this is customers' languages, okay? This will just scroll infinitely. And this here, it won't let me zoom in, but you can see, this is direct parent testimony. This now becomes my ads, okay? It's not company selling to consumer, it's parent selling to parent. That makes sense? And now, all of a sudden, if you're asking, how do I know about my customer? I know because they told me. If these guys have these problems, there's a very high likelihood that other parents are going to have these problems. So now I'm attacking the right angle. And this is how you use data to get that harmonic resonance with consumers.
So that literally becomes a copy.
This becomes a copy. And then we also have incentives on the back end for UGC, where it'll come directly from, after the second purchase, from my co-founder. Again, direct email, I can show you if you want. And it basically says, do you want your next pouch for free? Great to see you back. Okay? It's just like a online PDF, basically, where it shows them and it directs them what to do, how to take the image, how to put the orientation of the phone, and then it's scripted a little bit, so it has the basic flow that we'd use in any UGC. That then becomes my ads. Okay, so I'm now no longer required to come up with narratives, use ChatGPT, any of that. The ads are there. The customers sent me ads. So now I don't have to pay as much for creators. And this is all on autopilot. Make sense?
But there's something in my mind that is just, okay, me when I open my email, okay, and I see these kind of things,
Yeah.
90% or maybe 100% of the time, I would never open this.
Yeah.
Because
Same.
I just see it as a spam.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking as well as another way as
I showed you this
people
before.
see it, so they remember you. Like, even if they don't open the email, they will see your name, so they actually remember, like, this brand.
Yeah.
But for me, I would never open.
Okay, so you're basically saying because you don't open emails, everyone else doesn't open emails.
No, but I mean, in the people that I know in general,
It
like,
won't work. Right, let me show you, right? This is last 60...
maybe older.
This is one brand, right? One brand, last 60 days, okay? I don't know why this isn't working. Last 60 days, I'm going to put it flat. Finn, help me out. Oh, out and in.
No, in and out one.
I like it. Right, I'm going to leave it flat. When this goes small, sometimes it means it's going to work. How did you do it before?
Yeah, both.
What?
In and out, just keep going.
I just did it.
So building a brand is nurturing a customer.
All of the gurus is they focus on acquisition, I focus on retention. And this is why it's very applicable to supplements in particular, because this is where you make your margin. I obsess over the consumer. Say this one brand, 150k, last 30 days. If you don't believe me, placed the order, last 30 days. Of 150k, 85 came from email. That's 60% from email. So to say that it doesn't
email,
work,
meaning those are returning customers.
no, they are email customers. So the email journey starts when you get them to your landing page.
Oh.
You have a lead funnel. We'll run through funnel. I just need to stay away from it basically.
just had to
150,000 pounds is how many orders?
Okay, so we run 3 value campaigns every week, and then the flows are the automations on the back end. If you want to see the automations on the back end, let me show you. Let me see if I can toggle by status and live. So these are all the flows we have on the back end. These are live ones, okay? And these are very strategically put together because they architect and link up to the customer journey and where they are within the customer journey, okay? So you can separate this, and this might look a bit overwhelming, but this is just behind the scenes of a 7-figure brand, okay? All of these are carefully architected and curated and well-timed, okay? So these are the automations, and then you also run campaigns 3 times a week. And the campaigns are where you educate, this is where you nurture relationship, and you don't ask for anything from them, you just give. And you do that indirect selling of, you're telling customer stories, you're giving them free resources, or you're giving them trainings or whatever. So this is how you get them to open your email, is by delivering value. If you just sell to them all the time, no one's going to open your emails. That's the difference. Jab, right hook, Gary V. Give, ask. That's the flow. All right, do you want to see the campaigns?
Do you know when to say what?
When you map it out, it depends on your unique infrastructure on the back end. How long does it take for delivery?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a longer delivery time, can you email them strategically after 2 days saying your order's on the way? It's going to be X, Y, and Z. You need to understand the infrastructure on the back end. Come out of this. The old ones, some of the new ones. So like this one went last night. But let me preview it. Do it with it. Campaign. Okay. Lead with value. Educate them. Entertain them. And then at the bottom, now you can ask. Okay. So you're linking someone who's an influencer, has a lot of followers, a lot of trust in golf. Educate them on the product, and then ask for it. Okay. That makes sense. So it's all value led, is what I'm trying to say. Customer testimony is also a good one to lead with, because then it's customers selling to customers, not faceless brand selling to customers. Okay, this is always a good one. Use the testimony, okay, because it's authentic, it's transparent. Okay, all this type of stuff. So you're still educating them without going for the sell, but you are going for the sell. Okay, I'll at the bottom. Okay, but yeah, email becomes like an incredibly important resource for e-com as part of your funnel. But I don't know how many of you guys understand like standard funnel of what that looks like. I was asking, what does the process look like for you from someone who's never heard of you to paying customer? Do you understand what the systems are? Do you know what they look like? This is what I'm talking about. All right. That one, about 20K a month, not much. I think it was like 20K last month. You want to look?
20K and your revenue is 100.
This is like trying to push the scale as well. That's why I said we set up for this brand anyway. Best month. I manage the marketing for them. Performance marketing. That makes sense. Profit margins on this brand, after everything, is probably about 12 to 18 on P&L end of the year, if that makes sense. Which again, we were talking about this, and we'll touch on it if you want later.
How many percentage is the ideal?
65% minimum. 65% I would say, if possible. Gross. Remember, gross is before expenses, yeah? After everything's been taken out. We'll come back to this because this will be important for you in particular if you're having to commit cash to inventory. Maybe the same for you, Naomi, as well. We'll come back to this. And you, Travis, as well. In terms of like scaling up, knowing your numbers is incredibly important. But what I'm going to talk about is the process from someone who has never seen you, don't know the brand, don't know the product, to paying customer, retained paying customer, okay? I don't know, just shout it out if you want. How does it work, or how do you think it works? Tell me. But what's the process? It's not outreach, it's ads, right? Content or ads, okay? So you always have your content blocks. Here's a YouTube video, content block. Okay, this content block can be organic, it can be paid ads, all right? Always. This is why I'm saying like e-com companies first and foremost are media companies, because it generally always starts with content, okay? If you want to layer in other stuff, you can maybe put like word of mouth or referrals, which is also incredible. And you need to have a referral program for every business that you run, every e-com brand, separate strategy. It's an app called Referral Candy.
Referral candy.
Yeah, Referral Candy, yeah. All right, so you got content. This is your top of funnel. This is then going to push them to an Apple, allow it. All right, content takes them through to a website. Okay, LP is landing page. As soon as they go on landing page, they're going to get an email pop-up. This is your lead form capture. This is incredibly important, and this has its own strategy. On the lead form capture, this is about building in the law of reciprocity. Pretty much every dropshipping brand I see will do 10% discount. Don't do that. Don't do that. No one cares. Okay, lead with value. Okay, that law of reciprocity basically means, can you give them something that they want or need that's ideally going to have some sort of high affiliation to the product? Okay, for me, I think I've got it over here. Exactly, that's the question. This is why I was going to get this. So, say for my nutrition company, no one can use the product without a shaker. Okay, this costs me 90 cents to make. On the website, it's $8 to $9. Okay, it's hyperinflated. No one buys them because I give them away for free. If they want a free one, they give me that email. Okay, so there's leverage. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to use applied leverage that is not a discount. And if you are going to use discounts, you can still do them, but you use them down the line. Don't lead with them.
So you're saying I should just give product instead of...
If something that's affiliated to it, okay? It doesn't have to be a physical product, it can be a digital product as well. But it has to be valuable, and it has to have perceived high worth to the consumer.
What is the digital?
I don't know, like a PDF, like an ebook, or a fashion guide, or I don't know, like a lookbook, tanning guide, there you go. Something, but ideally it's something tangible, okay? And not necessarily non-fungible, but you can still test, and you're always testing, okay? This here is incredibly important, okay? The reason I say it's incredibly important is because in general, for anyone to buy anything from anyone, they need at least between 4 to 7 touch points, digital or in person, all right? If you do not have this, you only have 2 touch points, which means, particularly so if you've paid for it, if they don't convert, you've used one of your lives, you've actually paid to get someone to your website, and then they will never see or hear if they don't buy there and then, okay? If you get this right, this is where you get the 4 or 3 to infinite amount of chances to convert them. And this is where email marketing comes in, and this is why I'm getting 60% of revenue from just email alone, okay? If I didn't have email, I've halved revenue straight away. The opportunity cost of not having email is greater than, literally, it solves so much. But everyone I speak to is, I don't open my emails, it's always gonna go to spam, all of this stuff, there's strategies to get around it. But if you lead with value, if I actually give you something you want, why would you not open the email?
Because for me, I have 10,000 emails, but I don't.
Yeah, that's you, but that doesn't mean everyone thinks the same. If there's something you really like and they say they're gonna give you something for free, are you gonna check your email?
Yeah.
So this is why I'm saying the value has to be reciprocal.
But how would she know that you're giving something for free if she doesn't open your email?
There's that pop-up. It pops up on the screen. It's unavoidable.
Yeah, and on a live, when you go on live, okay, after I go to my email, because I thought that you will send me something. But yeah, it needs to be live for me.
Email's instant, right?
Yeah, like now.
It's alright. If I take my phone, it's good I took my phone off silent, sorry.
No, I want to hear it.
Alright, I'll leave it. I'll leave it.
Jane.
You'll not go in there, bro, because the cookies aren't on. Use Kali, but go in incognito. But again, I'm on it like every day, so, and go mobile view as well, please. You just have to find like another website. Okay, there you go, something like this. Free gifts work incredibly well. You get something from them and you engage them. This is just a test we're running at the minute. Yeah, if it'll pop up. It should do. Now just go on Kali, it's probably a better example.
So if you click on each of it, the different gifts can pop up?
No, we're just data collecting. This is a separate thing, this is more sophisticated. There you go, okay, there you go, look at this.
Yeah, you're right. It's a good one.
This is unavoidable, okay? You can't click off it.
You can't what?
You can't click off it. You can, but you have to, it forces, this is a separate app called Elevar. But again, I don't want to complicate it. I just want to keep things nice and simple, all right? Free gift. Information gather, so if you want the stuff on the bottom, this is advanced segmentation. You don't need to worry about it. For you, all you need is just the button to collect the email. That's it, exactly. But look what you're showing them. Have to tell them, though.
Okay.
You can if you want. You don't have to. Do we ever not give people a gift?
Sorry? Actually, you said they would make like the data and you don't send anything.
No, because they have to, it's with their first purchase. So with your first iron set.
For example, an idea.
Yeah, but just make sure it's valuable, okay? Because they can use AI for that stuff. Yeah, for sure. Or they can just Google it. Make sure it's actually like a secret. It's how you package it. Remember, you're thinking as a performance marketer, you're basically trying to, what's the word, not manipulate, but you're basically trying to extract something from someone, which means you need to leverage them, and that means you give. Yeah, but the perceived value needs to be high. All right, level of perceived value, and this is all it is, right? In any exchange, fair exchange plus perceived value times leverage. Any one of those missing, it doesn't work.
What was your perceived value? What was the perceived value?
Well, assume they're coming on and they actually want an iron set because this is what the ad has been. The free gift for this, I think, is a towel. Or it's an ONX, it's a separate iron, yeah, golf towel. This is where you can use other ancillary products that you can ship at the same time from the same place, so it looks like it's worth more than it actually is.
It actually works because I rent villas all the time when I shoot. So one time I rented this villa, and when I get in, like this is the only Airbnb villa that gives fruit, like welcome drinks.
You remember it. You remember it.
It feels special. The small gesture, like,
Yeah.
it matters a lot.
I agree. And again, you understand the law of reciprocity, right? How that builds in, you give before you get, okay? So there's always an exchange of value or perceived value, okay? So does that make sense? Lead form pop-up, all right? If they land on your landing page and then they don't buy, for most, that's it. End of story, okay? If you have retargeting ads set up, you maybe have 7 days worth of attribution to retarget them, which is a separate strategy in and of itself, but you have to pay to get them back to the website. Once you have email marketing, I think below like 10K is free. It doesn't cost you anything, okay? The thing that email marketing costs you is time to set up, because it's a mixture of copywriting and graphic design, basically, okay? Once you're in here, you get them, so this is all like post-click experience basically, okay? Everything here has a strategy. So after they're on here, this is going to direct them to your, I'm just going to use them like this. So your abandoned cart series, okay? It can just be like your abandoned series basically, because you have multiple ones within it. You have abandoned browse, abandoned cart, abandoned checkout. So you have 3 abandoned series, all right? And each one of these has flows, okay? Now, instead of pointing back to the landing page, what they do is it will point over to, this is another page. This is your product page, which I have hyphenate to PDP, okay? Content unit, whatever that is, video, image, static, organic, paid, goes to the landing page. If they do not buy there and then, they go into your abandoned series. This is all on the front end, so this is all pre-purchase. The abandoned series will point them back to your product page. Most people just go content to product page, okay? You want to go landing page first, wherever possible, always go landing page, because your landing page educates them, it takes them on a journey. Your product page just sells to them. Yeah, not send anything ever to homepage, ever. Never send anything to homepage. Homepage is for Google results, that's it. It's a placeholder, it's a menu. If you're paying traffic to homepage, you're adding in friction. The whole point of e-com is to reduce friction. Why? Because money loves speed, hates friction. The more friction, remember, you have like maximum 3 to 5 seconds to capture and hold and convert that attention into cash. The longer it takes, the more they have to navigate, the higher likelihood they're going to go the wrong way, they're not going to go to the right page, or they're just going to bounce because people don't have time. Remember, we live in the attention economy. Right? Attention is the new currency. It used to be data, now it's attention. Everything and everyone's always vying for your attention at any one point of time. Once you have their attention, particularly so if you've paid for it, you have to be able to streamline that process and make sure you convert it. And if you don't convert it there and then, you have automations on the back end that will allow you to then convert it down the line. Here is where you can start using discounts. Not here, discounts. All right, so you can have someone's abandoned the page, abandoned the cart, abandoned the checkout. You have a very similar email. I can show you if you want a separate email flow, which basically directs them to go back to it and gives them a reason why. If they then still don't purchase, it will follow up, and now you can use discounts because you've tried to get them at full price. Now it's okay, limited time, 10% only, here's your cart, this type of stuff. But you have to use, this is why I'm saying, like, try wherever possible not to lead with discounts. Like, most people are lazy and will use the pop-up as discount, okay? If you can avoid it, try and use an actual physical or intangible product and then utilize discounts further down because they carry more weight. They're already primed. And also the psychology of not running sales gives the perception of high value for a particular product. Do you ever see Rolex doing a sale? Doesn't happen, right? Imagine if they did do a sale though. Yeah, it would be so out of character. So again, you use artificially created scarcity, and also that builds more value and integrity in the product. But it's all perception. Everything at its core fundamental is human psychology. And that's what we're trying to do, is take them on a journey, but it's a crafted, carefully curated journey. But I don't want to overcomplicate it, okay? Everything here has a strategy. I've just said content as if it's nothing. Content has its own strategy. Your landing page has its own strategy, okay? Now, you've got them here. Now they're either going to go to not buy here, or they're going to buy. It's a terrible arrow, okay? Now you've got them, right? Now you've got their money, perfect. Most people stop there. This is the difference between me and pretty much everyone else out there teaching is, for me, now the relationship starts. This is where I build close bonds with our consumers. This is where I understand them more than they know themselves, because I get them to tell me about them and not me telling them about them. This then feeds back into email, okay? Now you have your welcome flow, and then you also have 3 times a week. These are emails, by the way. And the whole point of these is on retention. And what these do is they point you straight back to here again, which then points back to here. And this is how you create that flywheel of once you get them, you keep them, you retain them. Make sense? Yeah. But this is like self-perpetuating, because the only thing you become limited by here on the back end is, that's a factory, manufacturing, and ad budget. All right. So long as you can produce at scale and you have money from here to pump back into marketing, this is how you grow exponentially. All right. But you see how this flywheel works. It doesn't just stop here. It then builds into email campaigns. You can also engage them on social media, YouTube, whatever, because remember, you want to be in the same mindset as they are as to why they go on any particular platform. They want to be educated, entertained, whatever, like all of those things where they actually go on there to view. So if you can create content that it has that engaging, it falls into the category of engaging, they're going to stick with you. They're actually going to open your emails. They're actually going to watch your posts. They're going to engage. They're going to comment. This is an e-com system. This is how you scale. Otherwise, the only other way you can do it is you just continually go from here back into here, which is also fine, but you miss out on 60% of the revenue, as you've seen. And the good thing with supplements, they're consumables. They last a month, 2 months, then they've run out, then you need to reorder again. Yeah. So there are other ways, if you don't sell supplements, to do this. So you have a discretionary product, or you have something like a consumable product. That you market them separately, but you still focus on retention. So discretionary products, yeah. So say, I don't know, the water bottle is a good example today, all right? I've bought a water bottle. This should technically last me a few years if I look after it, okay? I don't need another water bottle, do I? So how can I retain? What would you say? Use it, exactly. This is where, once you have all of this validated, you have a consumer base, it doesn't matter what products you bring out, what offers you give. If they're not opening your emails, you can't run a sale, you can't do any offers, you can't upsell them anything. This is why this is important. Say, for example, Black Friday is coming up. If they are not engaged, I could have an email list of 100 million. If I get 1% open, what's the point? You want 40, you saw it in there, 40 to 60% open rate of existing customers. They've already bought. Like, why is someone going to open something if they've already bought the product? It's because they know there's value in there, your storytelling. There's narrative building. There's some level of like exchange of value, okay? If you have a product that's single time use, again, I don't know, I always use the massage gun as a good example. You know those massage guns you get?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to buy one every month. Yeah, exactly, unless it breaks, fair enough. But if you give them a good enough customer experience, you can now build in ancillary products. So when we're asking about the consumers, what's worked, what doesn't work, how would you change it, how would you make it better, there's affiliated products to that product that you can then sell. That's going to add value. Could it be a different head? Could it be a more powerful one? There's things you can do because now you have the cash to put back into R&D or to diversify the range.
But is there also like more like two type of product? You know, the product that
Yes.
people buy more lifetime,
Yeah.
like these machine guns or these
Yeah,
water bottle, you refer to, or for example the supplements that people will
Yeah.
buy every month because they actually need it. But it's also like where you want to put your focus on. Do you want to put your focus on getting more volumes, or do you want to put your focus on building a community and get some testimonial, like
Yeah,
you know?
but you always focus on the front end. This is automated, okay? These automations run, okay? You have flows taking them through, and you can have a first, second, third, fourth, whatever purchase. And the value campaigns keep them engaged because the value campaigns serve they kill two birds with one stone. They both entertain and engage existing customers, and then they also convert customers who haven't bought yet. Because remember, people are in here are still going to get these value campaigns. When they fall out of these flows, after however many days or weeks, they then fall into these. And this is where email segmentation comes in, because you don't need to send the same email to everyone according to who they are, their purchase history. And this is so on here you can see how many times a week, all this stuff you can do in segment, but this is more advanced.
Differentiate those people.
Klaviyo, you tag, it knows. Everyone, you know, like a pixel, for example, but everyone who buys is tagged, it's data. Everything's data in e-com. Data-driven decisions. It knows how many times someone's bought. Or if you do these type of value questions, you can apply custom tags.
That software name is?
Yeah.
Klaviyo. Klaviyo.
Klaviyo.
Yeah, Klaviyo. It's free. I know this is on Elva, separate bit of software.
I have a question. The
Mhm.
opt-in, after they opt in, you send them to the welcome service?
It's technically the same thing, yeah. All right, sorry. Landing page, product page. Landing page is where you send paid traffic to. And this is normally long form sales copy. It can be like advertorial, so you take them on a journey. Whereas a product page is a lot more condensed. The landing page allows you to iterate on narrative. One thing Rob's just brought up that I completely forgot because I was focusing on the Abandoned series is the welcome flow. So when people actually do give you their email, you get them in the welcome series. All right?
Can we see this in person? Like,
Yeah, I'll show you. If they haven't bought it, also go into a welcome series. The welcome series is now where you build on narrative. This is where you start to give them the founder story. They will give you the behind the scenes of the brands, how the product works, what the ingredients are, customer testimony. These all layer in to this welcome series, and all they're doing again is pointing back down to PDP. They're pointing to your product page. But you see how I'm giving every time. Here's the founder story. Here's a customer, this was a situation they had. Do you want to know what's in the product? Do you know how we made it? Do you want to know what these materials are? This is how you build on it. Okay? And all of this points straight back to your product page. Got it?
when you get a chance, can you show us how you incentivize them with the MGC content?
Yeah.
Like what you actually do?
Yes, sir. Do you want to take a break for 2? Go.
We need a massage from a
Where's the massage girl?
Let's get her over.
I'm sure we don't.
Yeah, it was basically, so this is like my image right now.
Yeah.
But essentially it started out, and this was after doing, you have to go through your analysis to get the angle, figure out what your angle, what your market, what your avatar is, get clarity on that. And it's basically, I was endlessly prompting ChatGPT to just come up with a bunch, like you can see it. But I started out with just this, off of ChatGPT, and then looking at different brands that were similar and just plugging in images like this into ChatGPT. As you can see, so Better All, you can see our final product. It's very similar.
Yeah.
But it started out using ChatGPT, getting inspiration, different logo designs, mid-journey. So there's hundreds of images that I went through to basically distill down to what I wanted. And then what I did was I just sent it to my designer and kept on prompting him with different images until I got to here. Yeah. It all started from doing the avatar and market research properly. If you don't,
Travis, do you want to run through landing page very quickly as well?
we're still a work in progress.
It's okay, we do the same thing.
So we've been working on this for about a week. And what Travis is doing is basically taking as much inspiration from competitors, some really big players, to basically combine all of the best elements into a highly converting landing page. And this is in long form copy.
Yeah, it's okay.
Can you see this?
Got contacts.
Can you see?
I can see you, bro. I got you.
Yeah, Paige, it's... Actually, Lou, if you want to break it down, because you were the one who helped me with this.
Yeah, sure. So we spent a full day together on, I think it was Friday, right? Last week.
The copy isn't updated on this yet. Like the header we haven't updated yet.
We're going to switch around the...
So the designers are currently implementing it.
So it's a little bit different to when we spoke on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, no problem. All right, so this is basically the mechanics or breakdown of a highly converting landing page, okay? I can't control your screen, so I might need you to scroll on demand. But basically, go back to the top for me, please. This is different to a product page. A product page is all about the product. This is all about narrative. This is the narrative is the story we weave in to basically, when the customer sees it, they want to see a mirror reflection of themselves, okay? We lead with problems, okay? We agitate the pain. I call it kicking their bruised knee, okay? So you're agitating the pain, and basically as they go through this, they're basically wanting to see, they want to see what their problems are. So when they see them, you want them thinking, yes, that's me, I have that problem. Okay, this is why this doesn't look like a generic product page. A product page is like product, buy now, and then information underneath. This leans into a very specific narrative. Okay, so Milos, when you're saying about different angles to be able to position the product, this can be one of your angles, all right? And what this does, this is basically long form sales copy that takes them on a journey of the who, the what, the where, the why, okay? So as you scroll down, we build a narrative. We're basically reinforcing everything that's wrong with them, or, I don't know, the world, or whatever the specific problem is, to build narrative. And basically you want to be able to encourage the scroll. So using dot points, using good creative use of images and videos, and you're basically storytelling. Because think about it, we learn through narrative, we learn through storytelling. That's like the key concept, and this is laying out a narrative. So you're talking about what the problem is, grabbing their attention, and then you're just holding their attention and backing up everything you say with either science or anecdotes or customer reviews and testimony. So this is what this looks like, because what you're trying to do, the easiest way to encapsulate this is you're trying to anticipate objections before they happen. This is all this is, because everyone will see something, yeah, but this, what about this? And as they scroll down, those questions become answered. Okay? This is a very good landing page, okay? And I don't expect everyone's first iteration to be as complex as Travis's, but Travis obviously also...
This is something we just added recently.
There you go. Okay,
and
we can break down everything in here. Yeah. So very short, punchy text. This is the key for landing pages. Yes, you can have certain sections which have more longer form copy, but most of the time it's a copy that stands out. Okay, and like things like percentages or using emojis, that type of thing, it has that pattern interrupt which will hold your attention. But basically you want to make sure that it encourages a scroll. Okay? I could literally spend a whole day breaking this down. That's literally how complex this is, but I don't want to overcomplicate it, because otherwise you'll just not do anything, because you'd be in that kind of paralysis analysis stage. Yeah. Travis, can you show them AG1s or a couple of the other big brands in a similar sphere, just so everyone can get a point of reference?
Here's Barbara.
You see how they follow a similar format?
Wait, let me see if I have it side by side. Yeah, so here's mine. Here's Armor's.
Everything's well branded as well, consistent, clear. And these guys are like 7-8 figure brand already. How old's this brand? Like 6 months? It's pretty new. I know. Yeah. But can you go on this one as well? The Miracle Move one, yeah.
Those are number one.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about these guys is most of the time these are leading with benefits, whereas from my side I always try and stay away from features. Always lead with the benefits, but storytell. Use consumer sentiment to storytell. And you see how Travis has like taken strategic sections but made them his own. This is what I'm saying where success leaves clues. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. The us versus them stuff.
Does it need to be like the fonts? It's so
This is your branding. The branding needs to match your consumer and target demographic.
Look at their offer. Here's their offer, and then this is just, it's basically, here's it. Oh, no, my offer's right here. Same offer, basically, as them.
Yeah. As I'm saying, you don't need to reinvent the wheels. Naomi, when you're talking about show me other brands, they have it, it's working. Success leaves clues. And the principle is, copy before you iterate. And I don't mean rip the shit out of them and do a carbon copy, cut, paste. I mean take inspiration, make it your own, but use the same principles and the same flow because this is working for them. You don't need to make 10,000 mistakes to figure out what not's working. There's already something out there that's working.
Here's AG1.
AG1's probably like one of the gold standards in this as well.
So you can, like even, so they have the icons like this. I have, not on this one, on my older one, we have the icons like this.
You don't do this on Shopify, right?
You can build it on Shopify, but it's sometimes easier to use landing page builders.
So Travis, you will build this on Figma and after pay someone to build on your Shopify, is that right?
Yeah, so I'm building it on Figma, they're updating it, and once we agree on a design, then they code it in.
Yeah.
There's an app that will convert it right to Shopify.
Oh really? Yeah, probably.
Nice one, Travis.
Yeah, really nice.
Really good. Rob, what are you using? Because you're also doing landing page.
Gem pages.
Gem pages. Same thing, Gem pages, Pagefly, Zipify pages, they all do the same thing.
And you build this in 1 week, you said?
And
like a week and a half.
Okay.
and there are a lot of other like that, like AI that like just like you paste in a website and it creates a similar.
All right, bro. I'll let you off the hook. I'm gonna exit this. It should keep you on. It should just be back to me and you again. Do you want to turn the camera off, please, Jordan? No, I think that's good. Like that's like a good summary of progress so far, right?
No, I said turn the camera. I think.
Oh, so no, I think we're good. I just wanted him to stop screen share. But yes, you're right. Let's turn the camera. Actually, no, leave it here because we'll go through the landing page.
You see, I noticed every.
Is this you? Oh, is this?
No,
Oh.
this is my inspiration
Yeah.
for the brand that I'm starting.
Yeah.
See, sign up for 10%, please, blah, blah, blah.
Don't do that. Come on with something else. All right, guys. Yeah.
I think it's like the same conversation you had with me in terms of like avatar. Like, I was
Okay.
so scrambled in terms of the messaging.
Okay.
I wasn't fully clear on it. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Okay. So do you want me to go?
Once I spent that extra time to get really like hard to be clear on
Yeah.
the avatar.
Yeah.
It made this process so much easier.
Yeah, I agree. Well, because you know who you're targeting, right?
Like I can pull up that sheet as well just to show like the details.
Do you want to do it very quickly or no? I'll have to join the meeting again. Park that 1 sec. Actually, Travis, we'll come back to it. Let's stick on landing pages for now. Keep that. We'll come back to your consumer profile in a second. Let's just stick on landing pages. Keep your tab open so we don't forget as well, because it's really important.
The landing page?
No, it's fine. I'm going to go over my landing page first, and then we'll come back to the avatar stuff. So the question was, you want to see the difference between a homepage and a landing page and a product page? Okay, cool. Let me show you. You can use this one. So this is this landing page? Yeah, this is homepage. And the homepage basically acts as a placeholder. Okay? The placeholder is like a menu. So imagine someone, the only reason anyone should ever go to your homepage is if they find you on an organic result through Google. That's it, really. You don't ever want to funnel anyone to your homepage because what we said before, they will navigate to places you don't want them to go. Yeah, exactly. So you want to avoid friction, okay? So this is basically like a menu where it will disperse them and they will basically choose what they're interested in. We'll use this one and then we'll use one of the other golf brands as well, okay? So it's more, what is it? All this stuff, it's informational based. Yeah, okay? Social proofing, you're directing them to different products. It's always packed with social proofing. Again, all of this stuff, okay? It's not going to direct them to get the sale though. If you want to see a landing page like this is one test. I actually did a full YouTube video on just breaking this down. Same for AG1 as well if you want to see it. Oh, you're not working. Okay. So this is more this is more, what do you call it? Educational. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. Definitely you're not going straight in for the kill. So the ad will explain what it is and who it's for. The landing page then builds on the narrative. You can pick on any narrative or you can pick multiple ones, but the more specific you can be, the more effective the test is. All right, I understand my target demographic, so it's easy. Like, this brand operates in a very tight niche. Okay, so you have parents, then you have parents with kids in sport, parents and kids with sport who have trouble eating or don't have time. Okay, and then the kid age range is even smaller, so it's very targeted. And this is good because you can be very specific in the type of creative that you use and the messaging that you use, okay? So this basically takes them on a journey, explaining exactly what the product is, okay? So they've been introduced to it on the ad. Now we're gonna take them through and agitate the problem. Social proofing, what it is, because this is always the first thing is, what is it? Yeah, for these customers anyway. They've seen it, and the first thing from a parent's perspective is they do not want their kids to be a guinea pig. They want to see other kids using it, okay? So what is it? Is it safe? Is it healthy? All of this stuff, okay? Then you go into the problem stuff, okay? You're basically agitating the pain because you want them to read through this and, yes, my kid has that. Yes, they struggle with this. Yes, this is me, basically. So you're building a case as to why they should buy it. Then you go into the product, what it is. Everything's nice and short. Back everything up with testimony, whether that's like actual consumer. This is an actual parent. Like, we didn't pay her to do this. She literally sent it in, embedded in. Social proofing, more about the product, again, because they're super sensitive for kids anyway, on what they're eating. Because the whole point and premise of this product is kids will not eat fruit and vegetables. They don't like the taste of it, or the parents don't have time to cook, right? 1, 2 are generally a mix of all of them, okay? Social proofing, again, Premier League clubs, and then even more social proofing, so stuff like this, if this will work, like actual Premier League football teams giving you testimony, this type of stuff. It's like really good social proofing. So in the UK specifically, soccer, football is like the biggest thing, right? And every single parent wants to live vicariously through their child, and they want to see them do well and be a professional footballer, right? Particularly for the young guys, okay? They love it. It's like a religion. It's that level. So having this there as validation is key. Okay, and then we back it up with even more testimony. Now these are also Premier League Academy nutritionists, okay? Crystal Palace, all this stuff, Sunderland, they came to us. The thing is, right, because when you operate within a tight niche and there are no other options or competitors, when a parent introduces the nutritionist, oh, watch this, I better get in touch with them, is it safe, all this, then we have a chat with them and, oh, actually it would be quite good for us to do a collaboration. How about we send you like a box of product for the academy, and in return we'll send a camera crew, or if you can get us testimony, all this stuff. It works, it carries so much weight because parents want to be reinforced that this is safe and it does what it says, because this is the other thing as well, if you pick anything away from the landing page stuff, is always go in on the mindset that whoever lands on your landing page instantly thinks you're a scam, okay? If you go in with them expecting you to be a scam, your job basically becomes, how do I make this not look like a scam? And things like credibility, social proofing, external logos, all this stuff carries so much weight, particularly so when it's authentic and real. The difficult thing is when you start, you don't have any of that, all right? And that's why in the beginning you have to work hard enough to not have to work hard. It's difficult, okay? I'll tell you my story for one in a bit, and then you go into an offer basically, okay? And then you just have more social proofing, again, West Ham, all this stuff. And then you go into FAQ, and then a sell down at the bottom, and then again, just more testimony, this type of stuff. This website's probably on 3% conversion, which for e-com is amazing, right? 3%, yeah. But it's because it's niche, and I know what works, I know what converts. All right, and that's just on general front-end conversion, never mind what goes on the back end. And also the retention, I think, is between 40 and 60% because they have nowhere else to go. I have a segmented niche that you not trap them in, but it's okay, where else are you going to go? Okay, but the product actually delivers on what it says it's going to do. It actually tastes good, so it's okay. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, that type of thing. So yeah, FAQ at the bottom, come out with this, and that's pretty much it, okay? If you wanted to see a product page, product page? Just go back and you'll see how different it is. Because this is more direct to the sale, to the sell.
From the landing page, people can just click on one.
They buy it on the landing page, yeah, ideally. Buy on the landing page, ideally. Because remember, you want to reduce friction. Okay, so now they land on here, the assumption is they already know and trust you, or they've already seen the product and they know it's good for them, so you can be a lot more focused on the sell. Okay, subscription, pre-selected, discounts built in, delivery on the bottom. This is important. Again, this is modeled on Amazon, because Amazon do subscriptions and they do it very efficiently. So same principles built into this. Again, this type of stuff is really good, but this is built based on all of the objections I've ever had from parents. Yeah. What do you want to know?
Like, what is the best beneficial for them to get signed up in subscription?
So think about the consumer. Like, the benefit for this in particular is it saves them time in bandwidth, because they know now their kid uses the product, it roughly lasts them about a month. So I can just get it delivered on the door every month, don't have to think about it, and I save money.
Yeah, but I'll
It's
find
different.
a way to...
Exactly.
Because
It's loading.
Yeah.
Why
So-
would I buy next month?
Exactly.
I have to find a way.
No, the thing is, if I offer a subscription,
Mhm.
okay, they have to pay monthly subscription.
Mhm.
What if I ask ChatGPT what is the best for clothing?
Yeah.
But I want to hear from you. about
So
what
it
you
depends on your consumer, what do they want, because the things that are popping out to me are new drops. If you bring out something every
think.
new
I
season,
always,
okay?
I'm using some-
If you know their sizes and everything, you can literally just send them, or you can send them like a mystery box. I don't know. It depends on what they want. What do you have that they want that they don't have that you can sell to them? It's a good question. And also, who have you looked at and modeled who is a fashion brand that has a subscription built into it?
I haven't actually.
Okay, so maybe it's just a limitation of the actual thing. But what you can do, you don't necessarily need a subscription for it, but once you get them, you keep them. This is why your email marketing becomes incredibly important. But now, are you nurturing your list though? Your list nurturing is incredibly important. If you've got a big email list, and only, as I said before, 0.01% will open it, or your deliverable, this is another post iOS 14 thing with the third-party cookies. I don't know if you know about that. But like 2021, you can't track online basically. It's got worse in the last 2 years with email and deliverability with the spam filters, because everyone just blasts everyone with emails all the time. It clogs them up. And Apple even have a thing now where you can give someone a fake email. So it works as like a proxy. I don't know if you've seen that, where it will autofill your email with a random one that still directs it. I don't know if you've seen that. So it's getting harder and harder to actually direct and capture information and then being able to leverage information. So the way around it is to lead nurture. By lead nurture, it's exactly what I said before, lead with value.
Yeah.
Give them a reason to open it. Once it hits their inbox, there's no reason for it then not to, particularly so if you're not spamming them and you lead with something that they're actually genuinely going to be interested in. And the best way to do that is to emulate what the big brands are doing. As long as they're not running sales every week, think of ways, I don't know, talk about customer testimony, tell stories, educate them, entertain them, do like funny things, I don't know. Just do it where it's actually, think about it. Would you open this email and get value from it? If not, don't send it.
Yeah.
Okay? But it's always an obsessive focus on the consumer. That's always what it leads with.
I don't really send out bunch of emails. I only send out emails when I have like new collections.
Okay.
So I send newsletter
Yeah.
reminding them that I
Okay. But then they're going to get trained to think every time they get an email, they're going to be sold something, right? So can you go the other way around and can you send them emails that actually entertain them, tell stories, build a narrative? Like, you understand your niche better than anyone else. You're an actual target consumer for your brand. Okay, so what would you like to see as a potential consumer? What would be interesting for you to open in an email? Yeah, you don't need to tell me, it's just things to think about. Because the more you can, again, want of a better word, weaponize this. Okay, but then you're leading with discounts, right? Yeah. So this,
There's a website where you can see all the big brands, all their emails. Called
Really?
Yeah.
Build.com. You see
what's it called? How do you spell it?
MILLED.
Like that? Good. You get that one, Travis? Back in the room. Right there.
How the hell do I stop sharing?
I don't think you're sharing, I think you're good. I'm just trying to get this website to work.
Oh,
For fashion brands, I heard that drops are really working really well.
What?
If you do like limited drops.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I started without knowing nothing, so I have made mistakes and I've learned from it. So now I'm just like trying to learn what is best,
Yeah, take it
what
to
it
next level.
works. Yes.
System?
You search for any brand. right?
No way.
See all the emails.
Okay.
Really?
This is-
And you do one.
1984 or something like that.
1990.
Honest. I don't know if they're on
64,
there. I think I checked.
something like that, and they
Yeah.
or 2 days a month.
Yeah,
They
that's.
just run
No.
all the strategies is lead gen.
Okay,
Yeah,
AG1.
I want to do that, you know.
G1, just AG1.
What website is this?
We're just looking at random ones. It doesn't seem to find anything. Oh, it's because it's in Indonesia, that's why. Have a look. This is really good, if it works. Get off. Gotcha. Keep off. Very cool. I like this, bro. Good find. This one's gone straight in the folder. Bang. Real good.
And you can just copy this and change it with ChatGPT.
Yeah, copy exactly the same thing.
Yep. So see how they're leading with this type of stuff. Kettlebell workouts. I'm just trying to pick the ones that aren't sale. Healthy recipes. How to get in the zone.
What website is this?
And this is on it.
Mild.com.
It's milled. Yeah.
LLED.
I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. All right. Another one. See, these guys do it really well. These guys have got everything dialed in for supplements. If you ever want to try and copy and emulate, these guys are really good at leading with value, and they never do discounts. It's not them now, is it? Hasn't picked up on that at all.
There's another website called Really Good Emails. It's awesome.
It's called what?
Really Good Emails.
Oh,
Emails
You know,
plural.
know a lot, bro.
That's good.
Gives you that flow with the emails.
What's it called?
Panorama.
How do you spell it?
Pan.
Yeah, like that. Should be good. This is really good information sharing because everyone will, at some point, will get value from it.
Maybe try that on Google.
Probably AI.
All right, we'll find out after.
One T.
This? .co.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Good. Is this explaining things quite nicely to you? Do you want to see the email flows as well, like the welcome series?
Could you also talk about ads? Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone understood like just the basic premise of landing page, difference between that and a home page and a product page. They are different, they have different mechanisms and they fall in different strategic places within the funnel. Okay?
Do you have good contacts to get that level of flow going? Because like when you
I have a guy, I have a team, because it's quite labor intensive because it's copywriting and graphic design essentially, right? So he's a guy who manages everything and then he has a designer and a copywriter. I know, Rob, you found quite a good contact, right? So,
They're located in Georgia.
just a sec.
And I found them on Upwork. They're an agency, so they charge me $25. Yeah, they sent me some samples. It was only $10 each.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I also know Candy for Scale, which I wanted to ask for this more. So basically, they have 3 to 500 to 1,000 templates for supplement brands.
What's it called?
Candy for Scale.
Candy for Scale.
It's like they are like bombarding you with ads.
Yeah.
But they seem really good. They have a lot of good templates. You can just drag and drop your product in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've seen their ads all over IG.
Yeah, me too, man. They're not letting me go.
we didn't create OS.
No. What's that?
I think that's what they.
Let's get on this. Rob, you sent me some ads the other day.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk through them. You sent me some ads the other day. This again, man. What does anyone know about ads in general? Anyone run paying ads before? Yeah, Jordan, you know. What's anyone know about running ads? Anything or not? A little bit?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit. Structure, campaigns, everything.
Okay, cool. As you can see with mine, I'm very consolidated. This is just for one brand. Rob, you sent me some ad copy the other day, which is these, okay? So let me double click on them and open them or not. Maybe it will. Okay, all right, what do we think? What are we thinking? Just shout out. Good, bad, ugly.
The points here, the benefits are here.
Now, yeah.
Me too.
I know what I want and I go and
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of things I can say about this. It's a good start. Okay, cool. I want you to think first and foremost, always obsess over the consumer, right? Do they know you, your brand or your product? Are they problem aware?
Maybe they're probably not solution.
They're problem aware, but I assume they're not. Are they solution aware?
Probably not.
Okay, so they don't know the solution to the problem. They don't know you. They've never heard of your brand, and they've never tried your product before. Okay, so if you go straight in for the kill, what do you think is going to happen? This is top of funnel. They've never heard from you. You're going to run this as a prospecting ad.
Yeah.
Okay, what's going to happen?
No sales.
Why?
Because they don't know me. Targeting is not.
Yeah. Okay. So who is this calling out in terms of avatar? Who's it calling out? Travis, are you there, by the way? I think we lost him. Yeah, you're good. All right. So yeah, who's this ad calling out?
Could be anybody. So
Exactly. So remember, if everyone's your customer, no one's your customer. We sell through narrative. We lead with problems. Okay. This just looks something out of a magazine cut out that someone's paid an advertorial. This is not going to stop the scroll. This looks like an ad.
Yeah.
We do not want it. People do not go on social media to be sold to. They don't. They go on to be entertained or to connect or educated. Okay, think about it. This is why you go on. You don't go on social media to scroll through ads. So if this pops up, instantly pattern recognition, ad not interested, gone, bang.
the price in red.
Price. Why are you leading with price on there?
Yeah, I don't really like it.
Okay, but this the reason we'll use this as a case study is because everyone who runs ads, they send me the very similar thing. They think they send me an ad. All right, we want a disguised ad, something that's value orientated. Again, see us how many times I use the word value today. In every customer interaction, there's always an element of value there. And also, what catches your attention? What is 90% of every news program about?
What it's about?
What's the general consensus of watching the news?
Negative.
Negative. Problem. Okay? If no one cares about good news, they'll have like maybe a 2-second or 2-minute thing at the end. Oh, this happened and this happened. But the rest of the time, breaking news, this has happened, these have died, catastrophe. Because exactly, yeah. That's why I don't watch the news. Okay, very negative vibe. But the same thing applies to here. If you lead with negativity or problems, you capture attention because it's tapping. Like as much as the changes and evolves in digital marketing, us as human beings have not changed in millennia. We're still wired primarily to look for threats. Okay, so what you're basically doing in an ad is you're tapping into that. You're leading with a specific problem. The only way you know what the problem is by knowing your customer. The only way you know what your customer's problem is by speaking to them or selling to yourself. You see how all of this links back around together, right? You can pick on any one of these problems and then you can build either a dedicated landing page or one specific narrative, okay? So let's go with your avatar. Who are they?
Men over 40 that are, into fitness.
Yeah. Are they going to buy this product? So how are you going to sell something to them?
Are you only selling it for?
It could be for women, but.
Okay. So again, you're the avatar. You take these supplements?
I've taken other. I just got them into the.
But in terms of like, okay, you've taken them, and why did you take them?
Why did I take? For energy.
For what?
What?
For what?
For training. For training.
Okay, so solely gym-based recovery training.
Yeah.
Okay, so why does that say that in here really? And also, picture the product. They don't know the product, they don't know the problem. How can we lead with a specific narrative or show a specific avatar who looks like them and talks them and use their language? And I don't mean like French, I mean like languages and they use the same terminologies, the same phrases. What's going to capture your attention? So you put yourself back in that position of pain. You're struggling with fatigue, with energy levels. You're super sore. There's your headline. And the hooks you're using are struggling with, tired of, sick of, like negative connotations that agitate them because you want them to think, yes, I am. Yes, that's me. Yes, I have that problem. You create harmonic resonance. Not even the person, the problem. Leading with the problem. Okay. If you go straight in with features, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Why do I need to buy this? I don't know what it is. You're just telling me something I've probably seen on the shelf 101 times. It needs to talk directly to you as the target consumer and get back in that state of agitation and pain and play around in there for a little bit. You were struggling with this. How did you first hear about the solution? All emotions. Exactly. It's all emotion. And what's motion? Energy and motion. Okay, so how did you hear about this product?
When I took it?
Yeah, what made you take
Rogan.
it? Okay, Joe Rogan. Where's Joe Rogan?
Yeah. Huh?
Where's the clip of Joe Rogan talking about it?
Yeah.
I have a good one actually with the big guy off, what's it called?
Huberman?
No, it wasn't. No, Huberman's always a good one to use. This is the other guy, he was in a sitcom, big fat guy. I'll find it, but anyway, he was talking about ashwagandha and how he had all these muscle aches. I think he was doing a round of golf. And then someone gave some ashwagandha and it's like all of my muscle aches and stuff stopped the whole time. Something like that is a pattern interrupt because they recognize you. They are two 45-plus-year-old men talking. They look like them. They're talking their language and they're talking about a shared problem. And then it goes into the solution. That looks native to platform. It doesn't look like an ad. It looks like a standard reel. Understood? That leads with the problem. Lead with the problem, and then build and layer in emotion. That's what we think. We make rational, logical decisions, but 9 times out of 10 we buy out of emotion. Make sense? This would potentially work as a retargeting ad because now they are product aware, they are brand aware, they are problem aware, they are solution aware. Now they just need to be deal aware. So they fall down in that category. You've taken them on that journey. If you go straight in with the deal or product aware at the top, you're screwed. You might still get some sales, but it's not going to be scalable. And this is the same mistake I see time and time again. The other thing, everyone just leads with like features, and no one cares about features. They have a problem, they have a current situation, they have a desired situation. You bridge the gap, all right? But to do that, you need to start with each polarity and bridge it, but you bridge it sequentially, and you take them on a journey. So this is the pattern interrupt, this is the product, or this is the problem. The landing page builds on that. What you put in your landing page, you then extrapolate on in your abandoned series or welcome series. Okay, this is what builds the picture. This is how you get your 4 to 7 digital touch points before they convert. Okay, like every time someone sees this, you're getting charged. Think about it. You might as well set fire to your cache. It might still work, but it's probably not going to be anywhere near as effective as something that looks native platform and builds a narrative, has emotion carried into it, and then follows a set flow. You have a landing page, right? So the landing page should basically reinforce whatever claims or problems are being agitated in the ad. Does that all make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of information and there's a lot of psychology, but if you're talking about prospecting, which is top of funnel ads, this will not work at scale. Yeah.
What about static ads? Do you use static ads?
I'll show you my ads, okay? The other thing as well, before we go into my ads, I like to keep things super simple. I still do not to this day think there is a gold standard way to run, manage, operate, or scale Facebook ads. It's different, okay? So what I try and do is reduce operational complexity, and the same with everything. Start small, then scale, all right? Nail it, then scale it. For me, I'm running 2 campaigns. One is an Advantage Plus, which relies completely on the algorithm. The other one is manual. In the manual, I have 2 campaigns. One is broad interest-based stack, and the other one is retargeting, and that is it, okay? Let me show you. So Advantage Plus. Okay, each one of these will have one ad set within it. Advantage Plus is completely algorithmic. I let Facebook, Meta, whatever, do the targeting because it's never been better. It's never been better at targeting. It reads the lexical sentiment in your copy. It knows what's in your video. It knows what's in your ad. It reads the image. It knows who's in it, what's going on, and it reads your landing page. Okay, so it is now incredibly intelligent and it knows who to target. Okay, but it's interesting on here. I'm actually getting better results from the manual one. Within the manual one, super simple manual interest-based stack. So it's a broad interest-based. So Facebook's superpower used to be you could really narrow in on specific interests. Okay, post iOS 14, you can't do that. You can, but because you can't track and target anymore, it doesn't have the same level of data. So instead of, I remember Facebook ads of like 4 or 5 years ago, I would have hundreds of individual ads targeting individual interests. Okay. Like it's so difficult. There's so much going on, so many layers to it. Whereas now, all I do, say for this brand, I can be like super specific in the targeting. Anything that has any affinity potentially within this interest base. I don't know, just use golf. So I'm targeting like professional golfers. I'm targeting golf magazines, golf courses, all this stuff, all in one big stack. Okay, this is the broad. Okay, and then I have retargeting on the back, and that is it. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. All right, you can complicate it if you want. You can run interest-based stack, okay, but it's still highly broad because your algorithm. This is what I'm saying. It's never been better time to start an e-com business because the barrier to entry is so low. But the challenge now becomes all of the emphasis is on your creative, and if your creative is okay, the next level of emphasis is on your landing page. Then it's on your emails. This is how you get ahead and scale, and this is how you separate yourself from every Tom, Dick, and Harry who's setting up a dropshipping store with terrible ads for a horrible landing page. You can pretty much sell the exact same product in 10x if the correct system's in place. And this is the good thing about e-com is you leverage systems to divorce your income from your time. If I'm speaking too fast, sorry, I'll slow down. Let's have a look. You want to see some of the ads? Advantage Plus, 1 ad set, super simple, okay? Go within here, now I have multiple creatives testing, okay? And what we were talking about Rob's thing before, of static ads, I actually have UGC. This whole brand is built on UGC. Okay, I don't know. Just look at this one for example. In the creative, okay, just picture the kid with the product. Pattern interrupt for parents is okay. That looks like my kid. Or this is weird. I've never seen this before. And then you have the copy. 9 times out of 10, it is either a primary text or it's directly copied from the consumer profile. You know, when I'm asking for their feedback, it's directly from there. Okay, that is literally it. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Yeah. On the retargeting, then you can build in customer testimony. So you can have more, you can still test the same creative if you want, but you have more of these. Let me see if I can find one. Or something like this. So you have an actual parent talking to other parents. Like it's not scripted. This is like actually authentic sent in. And it's parents selling to parents. But the thing is now they are product aware, problem aware, solution aware. Now it's about layering and getting with the right deal. Okay, so you architect it slightly differently. You run slightly different types of ads. For example, if you want to use solely testimony, retargeting is the one because now they know what the product is. You can't run a retargeting ad when they don't know what the product is and they don't know what the problem is. Make sense? If you want to see a more complex ad account, let's have a look in Kali for a second. Look at these guys. This follows the same premise, but it is a little bit more complicated, and also it's a much higher AOV, so you have more meat on the bones, if you like, to cost to build in. Are you asking how much you spent this last month? 25k. This is just last rolling 35 days. We'll stick on this brand.
Do you use agency account or
No,
you just scale up?
brand account, yeah. I've never, touch wood, been banned on Facebook forever in it, so yeah. Although, as of yesterday, my Instagram says different thing.
Brand, I get blocked because of course it's sexy. It's dangerous. That's the thing.
Yep, it's difficult. Okay, so that is a unique problem in and of itself, because you need to be able to go backdoor, for want of a better phrase. You have to position things differently and use narrative. Because if that was the case, brands like, I don't know, H&M, Zara, ASOS, Shein, all this stuff couldn't advertise, but they do. They just find a different narrative and angle. But the thing they have is that no one has here is brand equity. You build brand equity over time so people trust you. Like, it's pattern recognition, they know the brand, so they instantly trust it. Whereas when you're starting off, no one knows you, no one's heard of you, so you have to build trust and build credibility.
Right.
And the way you do that is by delivering over time, consistently, and reviews, testimony. But you don't start there. That's what you're aiming for. Make sense? So yeah, that's like very high level over the ads side of things and landing pages. Okay. I still want to break down this as well and see a little bit more. See, if you have distribution, you have good distribution. You have a bit of a superpower on everyone in the room, because you can leverage your personal brand to sell. Very similar to this. So you might not need to be as complex as something like a supplement, which has a lot of moving parts, like ingredients, reasons for things being in there, how it's formulated, who it's for, all that stuff. You're like very clearly segmented. So you can do a almost like simplified version of this, but it's narrative, consistent narrative. And always, you had your why at the start of the mastermind. What's your customer's why? Obsess over the customers. Why are they buying from you? Why are they buying this specific product? And most times it's status, or it's a particular feeling or emotion. And they're your points of leverage in the marketing. Anyone have any questions on that? Don't worry about it. When you get to scale, you could probably say in that ad account, the highest one is trying bit cap. We're testing bit caps and it's just not working at all. But we just want to give it a bit longer. I think you can see it at the top one. Yeah, cost caps. That's crazy. That's almost like the cost of the product on top. But we want to test it. But yeah, I don't think you need to worry about that at all. Not yet anyway. That's a thing at scale. If you're spending 10, 20, 30, 40k a day, then worry about it. I'd probably say 10 to 20 bucks. Yeah, but it depends how you're splitting that across different ad set until they stop working. I have had ads in one of my old brands that ran for 2 years and consistently performed. They do exist. Yeah. It's what do we call them? I've never seen anything like it.
What about like my brand? Because I have different, I have activewear, I have swimwear, I have dresses.
Yeah.
So what do you actually focus on at? Like what actually do you show it to?
The hero product.
Huh?
What's the product that you can make the most margin on?
Yeah.
Most margin on, and least friction to sell, and then you use the other things as average order value, so use them as upsells, and then that almost like counters the cost per acquisition, because it's not just the product you're getting, you're also adding and layering in, and this is another thing. You could do a whole session on conversion rate optimization as well, if you want, and like all you're trying to do with that is AOV and LTV. Your average order value, you always want to keep that as high as possible. With upsells and LTV on the back end, how long do you retain your customers, or lifetime value? They're your force multipliers. 3 things: conversion rate, average order value, lifetime value of your consumer. This is what you begin to obsess over once you have all of the functioning parts in order, because that's the only way you can go exponential, is if you make more money out of every customer, you convert more customers, or you sell more on every sale. They're your kind of key metrics to track. But in the beginning, I think you're primarily looking to establish product market fit. Make sense? All right. So we've covered landing pages, covered acquisition funnel. We still have a lot of stuff in here. We've touched on ads, payments. I can't necessarily help with, although you're talking about company structure, getting set up in the US, doing the pass-through stuff. Anyone struggle with supply chain? Anyone have any issues? Anything that like we can talk through strategically? Great timing with the drill.
Why not? For me, it's just because she was saying that obviously at the beginning it was 6 to 12 days to get simple, but now it's 20 days. So I'm like, she's gonna keep pushing, and I'm gonna get fucked at the end. Like,
Yeah.
And I told her, I'm like, if I'm gonna trust you, then I need to make sure that my product's gonna be there. Because if I start selling and then I don't have products, now I lose my company. Like,
Yes.
I trust you, and she's like, yeah. We will have stock.
It doesn't matter what they say.
It's trust also, like I'm thinking, should I do it here? Because here, at least I can control it because it's here. I can just send my assistant, okay, check this, you need you need to tell them to finish it.
Yeah.
But if back in China, then I have no control.
Yeah.
I can only talk to them, but
Yeah, I agree. It's super frustrating. Agent on the ground.
yeah.
At small scale, though, it's difficult to have unless you can pay someone. I know it's like incredibly frustrating, and also what they say versus what they do versus what arrives. Generally, there's always a bit of flux.
Yeah,
It's so frustrating.
I manufacture for them. I have read bikinis that I don't use because it's shit. So I lose money.
Yeah.
It's shit. Like
Yeah.
the sizing, the material, the stitches, it's
Mhm.
shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. And because you can't be there to oversee, it's like sometimes, yeah, the visit is worth it, but it can be quite expensive, especially if you don't have an established network over there and you don't know what you're doing. So it might need a bit of strategic planning, but in a way,
Dealing directly with suppliers.
yeah.
Most of Alibaba.
Oh, they are actually drop shipping or servicing themselves as well, which is frustrating. I've got a good guy, I know Davey Fogarty.
Yeah. Did you see it?
Yeah. Davey Fogarty runs, so I do, I don't know, 0 to 7 figures. Fogarty does 7 to 8 and 9 figures in terms of like e-com training. He does have a basic fundamentals course, but I'm working with one of his guys, so Fogarty basically has a separate team of individuals who help with strategic elements of the business. Isaac's one, he's called the sourcing guy. It's just called the sourcing guy. Just type in the sourcing guy. He's in Bali. He's from Canada.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's Isaac. Super cool dude.
David?
Yeah, works with Fogarty. So he handles all of the product sourcing side of things. But he could be a good contact for you if you're looking for, because he specifically does like clothing materials. So it might be a good connection.
What does he do?
I think, yeah, percentage on total order value, but then obviously the sourcing is the most important thing because he has accredited factories that he actually goes and works with and uses for other brands. So it might be a good hack, but remind me, I'll send you his details. I'll just give him a follow on Instagram. Okay, yeah, he has someone like strategically for everything. So if you go on, what his website's called. What's Fogarty's website called? Daily Mentor. Daily Mentor. And then the Daily Mentor.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he has like strategic people in certain places who will work with brands. I think you have to be doing 7 figures already to get in there. So it could be a good one for you. All right, so I covered you just text. All right, this is also a very important one, which we haven't boxed off yet, which normally I like to start at the beginning because as soon as you get into numbers, it starts to get a bit confusing. But hands up, who's actually committing cash to inventory? Yeah, you are, Milos, right?
I'm sorry, say that
Are you committing cash to buy inventory? So you're not drop shipping, basically, yeah? You're drop shipping straight away. Okay, because you have to think about this. He's a good lad. I think he's back home at the minute. Alan Shee is a good lad. Super cool dude. When you start off with the whole cash conversion cycle, do you understand what it is and what it means at a high level? If I say cash conversion cycle.
Yeah.
So it's basically how long it takes for the cash in your bank to be from product to back as profit. Okay, so it's how long it takes for you to buy inventory and to basically unlock the profit from that sale. Cash conversion cycle, this one here. This is incredibly important, same for you, Travis, because you're actually buying inventory. You need to understand how your cash flow is going to work, okay? And in the beginning, I think I've individually spoke to everyone about this, but it's always about leveraging downside, okay? So it's okay in the beginning to pay a little bit more cost per unit in return for buying a smaller amount, all right? With time, you will put bigger orders in, which means you will get what is called scale of economy. Scale of economy means if you buy 10 pens, they're $1 each. If you buy 100 pens, they are $8 each because they have more margin in it, because there's more volume. Okay, so your scale of economy comes with scale. Does that make sense? Did I explain that? Okay, you get it? Okay, so scale of economy is basically the more of a product you buy, the cheaper it becomes for you to purchase. It's like buying something wholesale. You buy a lot of it, you get it for cheaper. It's like buying all of those Bolian things, as opposed to if I buy them in the shop, they will cost like 100k. If I buy a box from wholesale, they'll cost me 60k each. All right, it's the same thing with your products if you have to do that. So it's the technical term is a scale of economy, but you don't tap into that until you start putting volume in. All right, but when you have cash committed to inventory, you still, do everyone understand a balance sheet? How a balance sheet works, roughly or not? So you've got profit and loss and you've got a balance sheet. A balance sheet is basically the sum total of all of the cash in your bank, the total net worth value at cost of your stock, and then minus any liability. So that can be accounts receivable or accounts payable. Make sense or not? Let me know if you need me to. elaborate. Okay, so let me see if I can do this. Balance sheet. Sorry, my writing is terrible. Yeah. I know, sorry, I'll try and slow it. My accent is bad and my writing is worse, I understand. All right, you have cash in the bank, okay? You have, that's supposed to be a box, stock, okay? The value of your stock, okay? So the combined of these gives you how much your company's worth on paper. How much cash is in the bank and how much stock do you have. But the value of the stock is not the retail value of the stock, it is how much it costs for you to purchase the stock, okay? Because when you buy stock, you still have that cash. It's just transformed into product, yeah, so it still has an intrinsic value. So understanding this is important. And then if you want to get more complicated, you have AR and payable. So this is if you have any credit lines with consumers that you're due to get money in from. And then if you have any accounts payable, so you've bought something and haven't paid for it yet, this sits on your balance sheet as a liability. Okay, this is how you get the total net worth of your company. So just understanding this at a high level. I don't want to like overcomplicate. Okay?
What's AR again?
Accounts receivable. So this is someone's ordered something but they haven't paid you for it. So say they got 30-day net payment terms, which rarely happens in e-com unless you go down the retail. If you go omni-channel retail, that's probably the only time you'll have this. Yeah, in e-com, you're not always necessarily cash flow positive because you have to buy the stock first. Unless you drop ship it, then you're cash flow positive because you only buy the stock when someone's paid you to buy the stock. If you have to commit cash to inventory in the beginning, you're always going to start in a deficit. Make sense? So understanding this cash conversion cycle is very important, and it's basically the flow of cash throughout your business. And if you get this wrong, this will fuck you up real bad. And I also learned this the hard way in just not understanding, because say, try and keep using analogy here. Say you've got, and you're going to buy them for $10. All right, so this is a product, hypothetical product. You're going to buy 100 of these for $10 each. So the total cost to commit to inventory is 1K. Okay. Once you start growing, 100 stock units is not going to be enough to buy because you're just going to sell out straight away. Okay. Again, this is like a problem of scale. I don't think you'll have this just yet, but it's just interesting to be able to forecast it and plan ahead. Okay. So what you do now, on the second or whatever third order, you will order 200. Okay. Because you're buying more, they will cost you $9. Okay. What is it? 1800. There you go. Quick maths. Terrible writing. You understand? Okay. So you actually have to pay more than the first because you're buying more. Make sense? But you're able to make more profit on the back end on this. I just want to do this nice and slow. Is everyone following so far? All right. So for you to be able to afford buying this, you have to think about your margin, all right? Because your margin here is going to be smaller than it is here. And this is where a lot of people run into trouble because they will take on invoice financing, they will take loans, they're like Shopify, hand loans out left, right, and center. And if you use it for inventory, it's okay. But what I see people doing is using it for ads, right? If you have something tangible to show for a loan, again, if you can avoid it, do it, all right? This is why I say price high and justify, because you actually have margin to put back in. But remember, of that margin, you have to have your operation costs, you have to have your cost of acquisition. This is where it gets more difficult, okay? And I struggled a lot with this because every time I went back to my manufacturers, I doubled the order. But I didn't necessarily have the cash flow to be able to do it without completely emptying the bank account. And that's terrifying, literally terrifying. So we took I think it was like a 25K line of credit from the bank. And then at one point we also had a new investor come in to buy a stock. We just needed cash to be able to buy stock. Because you can do it organically, but it depends on the speed or the length of time to sell this stock. Because the other side with having inventory is it costs you to store it. So the longer you have stock, the more expensive it becomes because you're paying for storage fees and handling, all of that stuff, okay? Which means you want to be streamlined. This all making sense? So it's just something to be aware of. There's no real solution other than just to be able to forecast and factor it in. Because if you think, okay, I've got like 5K in the bank, I can take the foot off the gas. Actually, when you think of how is this money going to be dispersed, actually you need to pretty much use all of that to go back and buy more stock. And it's only once you get to a critical mass, and it's a fine balance of having a very low cost of product. So if you can get this down to 5, okay, you made like an extra 5 on every sale, times that by 1,000, 2,000, that becomes a significant amount of money. Okay, this is when you can start to relax a little bit, but most of the time in the beginning, everything that comes in the business stays in the business, okay? Just in the beginning, until you get to this critical mass, or you have a target for cost of acquisition and cost of goods sold, okay? Just something to be aware of, because like, unless you can drop ship something, it's generally a fixed price. If you have to buy stock and hold it and then ship it, there's always indicative costs, so you need to build that speed in. Okay, just be aware of it and plan for it. Because it nearly screwed me, big time. Does this all make sense, or is this information overload? Okay, let me know if you need me to slow down. Yes, so it depends. Yeah, that's something you have to be able to forecast it, which means you need good cash flow systems on the back end, so spreadsheets. You need to basically know your numbers ahead of time and not be reactive. But generally, if you sell out and you sell out quick, you don't have a problem. If you sell slowly over time, it's worse, because it's costing you more because it's taking you longer to sell them, which means it costs you more to hold the stock, okay? The speed is important.
I think going through a lot of because I'm working with shit.
A bit louder, just so traffic in here.
I'm having to work out clients' target CPAs because they don't have it yet, and it's like guesswork until I'm actually running the thing when I started the ads that I can stay within those margins.
All right, let's solve this problem for you. Travis, I'm gonna turn you around. Can you see the TV?
I can see it.
All right, I don't know, again, guys who are working with me will probably have seen this, but there's a solution. Come off this, view, and this thing. Who did I run this through? Did I run this through with you, right? I think I might still have your numbers in, to be fair.
I think it's mine, yeah. 82, yeah, it's mine.
Yeah, okay. This is my super simple, oversimplified spreadsheet. Travis, you have this, right? Where you build in everything, and this will actually work out how much you can afford to spend on acquisition. This is like the key number that you need to play around with here to make sure you're able to bare minimum break even. Okay, if you break even and you have factored in costs of like salaries, overheads and stuff, then it's still okay in the beginning, but ideally you want to be doing this at profit. With supplement brands, because you have fine margins, 8 times out of 10, you make your margin on the back end, which is why retention is so important and why so many supplement brands struggle, because they can't retain customers and they don't have or utilize systems on the back end to be able to build relationships with them. It's all centered on the front end. Okay, so it's just one big, like one-way cycle basically. Okay, and as a brand, it's no fun to run because it doesn't allow, it's not a compounding vehicle. All right, was compounding the eighth wonder of the world. Once you can factor in compounding and you can have systems, again, that will work 24/7, 365, this is how you're able to scale. I don't know, a few of you guys have seen this before, right? I don't know if you've seen it, Jordan. You wouldn't have seen this. Have you seen it, Milos? Very 80-20 summary of it is how much does it cost you to produce the product? You can add in additional things here, which will fall into manufacturing if you need labeling and stuff. How much does it cost you to store, pick and pack the product? Now you have your total cost per unit. How much are you selling the unit for? What's your profit? And what's your gross margin? This just works out automatically according to this. Then you have your operational expenses. This is what no one thinks about, is how much does it cost you to operate and run the business, including a salary, founder salary in there. Okay. This is then divided by how many orders you need to make in the month. Okay, so it's basically a division of this by the numbers of days in a month times by how many orders. So what this number here is doing is adding for every sale, how much does it cost you to make the sale that isn't linked to acquisition cost to operate the business. That's what this number gives you. Then you have your cost of acquisition. This is your target. Okay. Anything over this, you're going to make a loss. Anything over it, perfect. Okay. The lower your acquisition, the better.
Sorry, do you put all the operation expenses to like
Yes.
you buy the product?
Yeah.
$10.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you actually? What else? That's the only product, right? But you have operational expenses, or
Correct.
you have other
Yes.
things. Do you put that? Then do you count and then you add the margin?
So you add the total for the month that it costs you to run the business.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this is what this is going to work out. Okay, so it's divided by how many sales in the month that you need to make in order to make profit. Okay, so you can play around with this number to find out exactly how much you need to make. That doubles with this. Again, this can also build in Amazon or TikTok fees, all that stuff. Total cost per sale, and then this numbers on the back end. But this is the thing no one really factors in, because they just think buy it for 10, sell for 20, made $10. But you miss the two most important things, which is this and this. Okay, I think that explains it on the thing. Got it? So when your clients or brands are saying, I don't know how much I can spend, they should have this. Yeah, that's the key, bro. That's the key. So you can see even with established brands, they still don't have the OPEX stuff built in. Jordan was saying he's obviously working with established brands, and they still don't have the operational expenses built in.
It's just like to them, it's like, oh, no, I spend like 15 grand a month. There's no detail.
No tracking.
Yeah. And remember, just like in life and business, what gets measured gets managed. Peter Drucker, the effective executive.
So do you use QuickBooks?
Yes.
And do you have a CFO for your brands? You manage it yourself?
So I manage all of the transactions, and then when it comes to tax filing, I have an accountant. I don't want to like just jump through this because it's like the most important thing. Because like think about it, the whole reason you're doing this is to make money, right? Yeah. If you don't understand the flow of money, you can't make it. You have to be able to understand, not like an intricate deal, but at least that level of sophistication, which is still pretty high level. But without knowing this, it is impossible for you to run sustainably.
Fear or hurdle I'm facing at the moment with launching my own thing is creative strategy costs.
Okay.
But I know it is constant. Right?
When you say creative strategy, what do you mean?
Just like producing video, like if you...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so are you using agencies? Are you using creators? Are you doing it yourself? How does it work?
For my own brand, use creators.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
To get it going,
what's the fee?
It varies, like creators are just so mixed in prices now.
Yeah.
And they're all just trying to like, some can be like $300 and they're a good for video and then videos.
Yeah.
And then you still don't know if it's going to work.
Of course you don't. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's a risk that you're taking.
Yeah, that's a risk that you're taking. So are we talking organic or paid or both?
I don't really think about organic too much.
Okay. So there was a way to leverage organic to then build into the paid strategy. Let me see if I can show you any money every month. And they actually need to work with brands for cash flow. But I find it, sometimes I haven't had a huge amount of success with creators and paying them. If they can be there on a commission, it's like you do well, we do well, everyone wins. That's always the best point of leverage, I think, with creators. Yeah, I think, but a lot of them don't like doing it because it means, oh shit. Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I think when you're talking about bringing on agencies or staff in the beginning, if they're not plug and play, or if they think they are as good as they say they are, they will have no problem working on commission. So for example, with my email guy who I still work with today, I probably get 8 emails every day from email marketers prospecting. Here's a bit of copy, will you give us a try, all this stuff. And the reason I went with this guy is because he led with value. He basically said, Lou, I've created this email campaign, steal it, copy it, run it. If it does well, let's chat. I said, okay, no problem. Run it, did well, gave him a chat. And I was like, thanks, Luna, I appreciate it. It's obviously done well. You're obviously good at what you do. But I'm only going to pay you in the beginning a percentage of increased revenue, so I know I have direct attribution to making this change to you doing your work. And he was happy with that because he was confident in his ability to actually add additional revenue via email. And he pretty much did straight away. He added probably an extra 20-30% in the first month. And then he has uncapped upside because he takes a percentage of increased revenue. And the increased revenue is, we're going to take the average revenue from email for the last 12 months. So there's no spikes. Anything above 60K, you're going to get 10% of. Make sense? So now I have no risk. All of the risk is on him. If he's as good as he says he is, then he has uncapped upside, as opposed to paying agency retainers, which I'm still to this day to find an agency who actually deliver on what they say, because you just become one of many clients. That's a difficult thing. You're going to get 1 or 2 hours a week of dedicated, and they don't take the time to really get a deep understanding of your product and of your niche. Get it? This is like with every single creative content or digital marketing agency, if they are not aligned with your niche, they struggle to find that resonance in the messaging, whether it's in the content that they create or the copywriting that they make for you. So if you can find someone who's aligned, who's happy in the beginning to work on commission, then it's a win. But you can spend thousands on agencies, right, and have no guarantee of results. So that's always my litmus test. If you think you're that good and you're willing to basically take a little bit of risk and you do well, you're going to have uncapped upside. So it's still a leverage deal, but it also covers your downside. And that's always the thing in running a business, is always leveraging downside. Richard Branson-esque. Always cover the downside. Answer your question. Long way of answering your question, but any follow-up questions off that?
No, I think there's Yeah.
I'm just gonna find the processes that I would.
Yeah. But you, as you said, like it's like a spin the wheel type thing on socials, whether something's going to hit or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that my logical path, I think, is because I know it's just.
Yeah, as long as it's good content,
Yeah.
because that's the other side is, unless you can see the quality of their posts, you can send them free product, and you can get like the worst picture that you can't use, or like a terrible video.
Yeah.
So like vetting them is really important as well. And also, if you find a good one, relationship building with them, get them on a call once every couple of weeks. Because like, the closer bond, the more incentivized they're going to be. Because sometimes they start off with a lot of enthusiasm, and then they get the free product, shoot a thing, and then they're gone. And if they do well, you want to continue working with them. And when you have 300, it becomes very difficult to scale. You know what I mean? So I would rather work with less but higher quality than more. And you're probably going to get 4 or 5 videos, good ones, off them. Or some of them just disappear into the ether. Send them product, gone. No leverage. Just make it more of a considered decision. Okay. But it's like the hardest thing, content marketing. Because without content marketing, you can't build a website, you can't build ads, you can't build your email marketing, you can't do your social media. Like content's always like the Achilles heel of a brand. So you need to have like good, strong strategy where you're hunting, not farming. And that means you have strategies in place to constantly keep that content coming in. Like I gave you an example of one in the nutrition brand, whether that's like actual reviews or if it's like incentivized content in return for something, in exchange for something, and then either yourself or someone dedicated on the team doing outreach to creators. So like incredibly important, because one piece of good content proliferates across the whole brand. It fits literally into every like touch point of the customer journey. All good? All right. Mindset needs its own thing. We need a whole day for mindset. But is there anything anyone particularly struggles with? Whether it's imposter syndrome, procrastination, getting things done. Yeah. Which one of those? Or all of the aforementioned? Anyone else? It's when? What changed? Okay.
It just broke me as a prick. Like,
Yeah.
like I was saying.
And there's still residual there in terms of, do you still feel it holds you back?
I'm just healing from it.
Yeah. But you're aware of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well aware.
And that's the key. It's difficult though.
It is.
The downstream impact of it. It's like a dark shadow
Yeah.
over you. That it's like a subconscious programming thing that you can do.
Do at once the healing part and
Yeah.
too much.
Not without distracting yourself
Yes.
anyway, and not dealing with the root cause.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else around the imposter syndrome stuff?
I feel like me, I'm more kind of a creative person.
Mhm.
I like to create content,
Yeah.
get attention, build the community, like builder type of
Yeah.
person. But when you look at the balance sheet and analyzing the shit out of it and sit for like 4, 5, 6 hours, I can't deal with that. So like in my head, I always feel like there are more things that I can do to bring more money just doing this.
I'm the same.
Yes.
So I always work like that. My brain always works like that.
Okay.
So how do I fix it?
Okay. There's a very good book called The E-Myth, revisited by yeah, Michael Gerber. Excuse me. Huh? Yeah, it's called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. And he's basically talking about the transition from someone who's used to working a 9 to 5 as an employee, then going into running a business. And the thing is, as an entrepreneur, you've got to wear so many different hats every single day. You're either doing accounts, you're doing product development, you're doing website, you're doing ads, you're doing management. This is just in the first hour of your day. You've got to do multiple things. And the thing is, you feel like you get spread very thin, but you don't have the depth of knowledge. You might have the breadth, but you don't have the depth. Like, I understand how to do accountings, but I don't know how to do tax filings and reports. I have no idea. I have no intention of learning. It's how can you leverage the parts of it that you're not good at, and this can be delegation, outsourcing, or a business partner. Does anyone have a business partner at the minute? Yeah.
Because I don't want to deal with it, I swear.
Yeah.
I'm good at creating.
Creatives,
I know
yeah.
what I'm good at.
Creatives are generally allergic to the analytics.
Let's create a brand together, yeah?
Mhm.
We create contents and you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking.
Dream team.
You run the business, we create content for you.
Yeah.
We have good following, and then we can,
What are we going to sell?
yeah. What are we gonna sell?
Supplement.
Okay.
More
Which supplement?
supplements.
Which supplement? Which supplement?
Let's run with it.
You guys sell Sandman supplements?
Yeah.
Make content?
Yeah. Nah, you just chill in the pool, bro, if you're good.
I'll be here.
Sorted. But yeah, if any of you have or planning on having a business partner, I also have a set criteria for that. I have a business partner with my nutrition brand, but pretty much with all of them, to be fair. I've never, other than my mentorships, even there, I still have someone running it. And there's normally a disparity or a lack of skill sets on either side. So having someone who complement you both, that can be in energy, it can be in skill set. You don't want a yes man. You don't want someone who just goes with the flow. You need to be incredibly specific and very aligned on the vision, because the decisions you make need to be in line with that mission. Okay, irrespective of like personal feelings or whatever's going on, it's always what's best for the business. And you might have completely different methodologies or ways of getting there. Okay, but as long as you're both pulling in the same direction, it doesn't actually matter who's correct. The only thing that matters is what's best for the business. So say with my business partner for the nutrition brand, he's the complete opposite of me. We argue all of the time. Okay, but 9 times out of 10, the correct path is somewhere in between both extremes. Like anything in its polarity generally is a problem. Okay, so if you can find that middle ground, and it might be a bit of this, a bit of that, 9 times out of 10, that's the correct path. But if you don't have someone playing devil's advocate with you, you end up in a bit of an echo chamber, and this is where it becomes dangerous for business, because you don't have anyone stress testing your assumptions. And a lot of the times, particularly in the beginning, you always start with assumption or conjecture. Okay, and this is the value of having good people around you, being in communities, being around other entrepreneurs, because you can brainstorm, you can pick the phone, you can send them a message, or having a mentor.
How do you deal with that if you don't agree in one thing?
Sent you a good, you got my phone?
Yeah, you sent me a big...
Yeah, let me find it. This was quite interesting as a summary. Let's find it. I have to scroll back a bit, but I'll find it. 1 second. You're missing all the sales coming through because I'm not connected to the audio anymore. All right, I'll read this to you, okay? Because it's a good like consolidation of concepts. It goes, you want or need to be polar opposites, but both firmly aligned on the bigger vision. There can't be any selfishness, but differences of opinion are good, so long as their integrity with the end goal. Most times you find the right path is somewhere in between both opposing opinions, but it has to be in the business's best interest and not for personal pursuit or endeavor. It's pretty much what I've just said. You need a complementary skill set where you each play to each other's strengths. Like one is creative, one is systems, one is analytical. You can always disagree on strategy, but ultimately the market dictates what it's receptive to. So you need to be in the scientist mode, okay? If you both go in with a scientific approach, you're both actively looking to prove yourself wrong, as opposed to your confirmation bias. 9 times out of 10, you'll find the right option. And I compare it to a marriage, because you're both responsible for sustaining in your own roles. Your employees become like your babies, like it's one big dysfunctional family, yeah? And then, this was the quote, I got this from Tom Bilyeu, and it's, if you're obsessed with being right, you'll be wrong most of the time. If you're obsessed with identifying the right answer, then you'll actually make progress. That's the key. Okay, so it's not about who's right or wrong, it's about what is the actual correct answer, and it has to be in line with that end goal. That's the key. All right, so you do not, in summary, you don't want a yes man. You want someone with a complementary skill set. You're analytical, the other one's creative. But you can interchange in roles, but it's difficult because 9 times out of 10, none of you have any experience doing these things. No one's built a website before, and no one knows anything about content marketing, which is why I'm back in the scientist mindset, and I got rid of it, but this whole physics of progress wheel of you start with an idea, you take it to market, you run, did it work? Brilliant. Do more. Did it not work? Okay, let's try this. It's just how any progress is made in any area, is always by testing, right? And e-com is one big, real life, sometimes expensive test as to what works. And that's all you're trying to do, is just constantly refine messaging to get your customer acquisition cost down as close to zero as possible and your margins as high as possible. Makes sense? Anything else on the business partner side of things? It is as important a decision as who you marry, particularly so when big money's involved. You don't want to rush into something, and even if it's just a napkin, get something in writing. Something. Do not go into this and not have paperwork, because whilst you might stay the same and change, Like we're the humans, like things happen. Over time, you go through different seasons of life. Now, whilst your business partner was completely locked in, now he's got a wife and family and kids, and now he's not putting the same effort in, and you're doing 90% of the work, he's doing 10, but then still splitting profits, all of that stuff. That's when it becomes a problem. Or one person wants to leave or exit, or God forbid someone dies. Yeah, you've got to have something. Even, as I said, if it's just a bit of paper to say you on this or you do this, these are your responsibilities. Okay, because if not, legal battles. Yeah. Then you get frustrated,
Yeah, I get frustrated.
and she thinks you're nagging, and all this. Or they're like, yeah, I'm not bothered anymore. I've changed, or something else has happened, or my attention's on this now. And then you butt heads, and then the business closes. Or it evolves, or you sell it, whatever. But more than anything else, remember, you're building this to sell. If you are going to take on investment, or if you are going to sell your company, you need solid paperwork. All right, no one's going to invest or buy something if there's not good, solid paperwork in place. Because it's just a problem that you kick the can down the road, but you don't necessarily have a saleable asset unless everything's set up properly, okay? But to begin with, speed to result. But if you're going to go in with someone, make sure they have the opposite complementary skill set. When you're high, they're low. When they're low, you're high. I don't mean smoking weed, just in terms of like energy, or they're going through a bad time or whatever. You need to counterbalance and pick each other up. One can be very pessimistic, one can be very optimistic. It's good because generally you'll find a balance, because anything in its polarity is always a problem. It's physics. You don't want to be out of balance if possible. Okay? What are we going to cover here? Yeah, bro, shoot.
So you scaled your business to like tens of millions, right? But in 2024, there are so many ways to make money nowadays online.
Yeah.
We just talked in the pool. Everybody tried a lot of stuff, right? YouTube automation, TikTok, CBP, e-com, dropship, Forex, crypto.
Yeah.
How do you only focus on one thing? Because when it doesn't work, you want to try other stuff, right?
Yeah, the thing is, I say this all the time, but the main thing is to keep the main thing. Because it's all about energy management and attention. Where attention goes, energy flows, results show. Okay? The second you have dispersed attention, you cannot be 100% in on something. All right? Because, as I said, we all start the day with a limited amount of attention units. We all have the same amount of hours in the day. So it becomes difficult. And also, you have to allow time to compound. If you go into something and don't see immediate results, this is why most businesses follow this continuum, okay? Maybe not service business because they're different, all right? So, actually, I'll simplify it. You've got the entrepreneurial J curve, right? Okay, and this is money, and this is time. Seen this before? Okay, so you start with something and you lose money, you lose time, you lose energy, you're just losing. Every bank balance is going down. You're setting things up, you're buying inventory, premises, or whatever it is, okay, you go down. And then this period here is difficult because you lose the enthusiasm a little bit, but then always your bank balance going down. And this is, I call it the desert of where all
Valley of despair, they call it.
Valley of despair, same thing, where you've lost the momentum or the excitement of something new. All you're seeing is your bank balance going down. Nothing's moving. You haven't made any sales yet. This is where most people quit. The second phase most people quit is here, okay? Because it's like the average of this is a flat line. So you put all this time, effort, energy, resource into starting something with 10, 20K in, and you're getting no results. That is frustrating. That is like expectation versus reality. You thought it was going to be easy. You thought it was going to be downstream. You thought I just do this and then I get this on the output. Because this here, the learnings here, collectively, allow you to then go on the upward stride, okay? But if you don't stick with it long enough, you're not going to get the learnings. You're just going to give up on the first hurdle. And to go back to the right at the start of the mastermind, I'm asking you what your why is. The right why will overcome any how, okay? This is when you need to dig deep. This is when you really need to think, why am I doing this? Because you have to do the same thing day after day that you might not like, you might not enjoy, you might not be good at yet. Everything and everyone around you is telling you to play it easy, go and get a job, quit, it's not a good idea, all of this stuff. This is when it's difficult, okay? This is when most quit. And remember, the number one reason most businesses fail is not because they run out of cash, it's because the founder quits. That's it. That's the number one reason, okay? And most quit in this region here because all you've done is lost flatlined. If you do not, and this could be like, this doesn't have to be like a month. This could be like 1 year. This is year 5. This is year 10, okay? This is the case for me. If I quit at any one of these points, I wouldn't be where I am now, okay? So you have to have a certain level of belief in yourself, in your product, in your brand, that things will come good. Okay? You quit any other time, you're screwed. But everything and everyone around you, if you are not in the right circles, will tell you to quit. Because the optics look like you're just wasting time. Okay? Anyone read Shoe Dog? Phil Knight, Nike story. Yeah? Very good story.
I know the story.
Yeah, but basically it's a big fat book, okay? And say there's 1,000 pages, 997 are struggle and lawsuits and can't get sales and don't know what I'm doing and don't know about the product. It's all struggle. If he could have gave up at any one of those chapters, and Nike as today wouldn't exist, okay? This is business sometimes. It doesn't have to be that way. And this is why your network is important. This is why having a mentor is important, because it's the only true straight-ish line to getting where you want, is to buy the knowledge from those who are 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, okay? If you don't have that, then you find your way in the dark. It'll take you 10 years like me. It's not the intelligent route, okay? It's one of my biggest regrets, really, is not having the right mindset to invest in someone who's ahead of me. And again, we're all products of our environment, essentially, okay? And you don't know what you don't know. That's my biggest regret, not investing earlier and also not documenting the journey step by step. But anyway, back to this. Unless you go through this period, you don't get to experience this. All right? So this is what I'm saying. You dial things back to the beginning. Why are you doing what you do? Link it back to here. Okay? Thing we didn't cover on here is the actual problem. Rate that problem 1 to 10. We're paid in direct proportion to the level of the problem that we solve. If your problem is low, it's going to be very hard to market, okay? If you don't understand your market, it's going to be very difficult. If you can't make margin, it's going to be even more difficult, okay? Everything is intertwined. But going in with the expectation of it being downhill ski is generally always a problem. Expect it to be difficult. Expect it to be like sharp left turns. But this is why we link it back to mindset. Because my thing is I'd rather run 1,000 miles in the wrong direction than stay still. That's my focus on executing. That's the key for me.
I feel like there's so many unknown variables as well.
There is?
We did find the other day who smashed the sauna brand in the house.
Yeah.
Bed.
Oh yeah, so on the blank,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And when he launched that brand, they just did it and went viral. And pre-orders, did 100 grand in revenue, pre-orders, and then reinvested that into stock. So that was there's a way to market, which is sick.
Outliers. You get the outliers.
But he was no use what we're we have products. So he's
Something.
fuck out there, bring a product to solve a big problem, which was how do I have a sauna in my house?
So the straight lines do exist, but you understand how he understood the market.
Yeah.
And you got these key foundational things correct first before coming up with a solution. If you guys can do that and get pre-orders, by all means, best thing you can do if possible. But the thing is, you have to. This is why social media posts can be quite good, because you can generate free traffic, but it's not actually free traffic because it actually takes you time to make the content. Because no one ever counts their time as money in the beginning, because you sacrifice so much and it doesn't feel like it, but time is money. It's also your most valuable non-renewable resource. So just again, and the cash flow stuff, just always keep that in the back of your mind. Does that answer your question on sticking? Yeah, as I said, the main thing is keeping the main thing. If you disperse your energy, the only time I would say it's okay is if you have a supplementary income, which you need to sustain things. So for me, how many of you know my story, by the way, in full?
I don't.
Okay.
A little part of it.
Okay.
Tell us.
Alright, timeline.
Take a deep breath.
We need a campfire.
Yeah,
Some shit. All right, brought up northeast of England, council house, council estate, which is government funding. Parents split up when they were young. My mum brought me up in a cult, Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know if you guys know what they are.
Yeah.
My mum and dad got back together in it, but very scarcity mindset. We literally had nothing. Okay, I always use the example of, I remember my mum would buy milk, use half of it, and then fill the rest of it in the tap, just to make it last longer. Super thrift. I think the only pocket money I ever got was 50 cents a month that I had to earn and work for. I paid rent since I was 12, worked since I was 12, done 1,000,001 different jobs. I finally broke free of the cult at 6, I think it was 17. It was quite a while. I'm skipping a lot here, but I'm working the whole time. The reason I left is because I wanted to go to university. So all I wanted to do was play football, basically, and they wouldn't let me go. The reason I found out why is because university teaches you critical thought, and their thing is, if you think I think therefore I'm dangerous, because now you're going to start to critically analyze and ask questions that they can't answer. Okay, so I just, fuck this. I don't want to spend too much time in a cult, but it's relevant because they don't believe this is the real world. They think this is just temporary. And the actual real world is after Armageddon, where everyone's going to be killed. Only Jehovah's Witnesses will survive, and you will live as perfect human beings on a paradise earth. Okay? So we don't need sports scientists, we don't need doctors, we don't need lawyers, we just need plumbers, electricians, and joiners, basically. Okay, because our only job is going to be to build houses to live in. And we're going to live forever as in the paradise earth as perfect human beings. Mm-hmm. It's a hard sell. But anyway, the part of that religion is you knock on doors. That's what they're known for. It's a missionary religion. So they're, again, from a young age, train you to knock on doors and basically trying to convert people. So that was like my birth of fire into sales. Like there is no harder job to do than door-to-door sales. What are you doing, Rob? Exactly. So can you imagine, like, door-to-door sales is rough. I don't know if you've ever done it before, but imagine that's the story that you're trying to sell to someone on a Saturday morning, right? It's hell. But anyway, it made me into a very good salesman, because if I can sell and pitch that to someone, I can pretty much sell anything to anyone, and that's translated into me as an adult. If anyone asks me what my superpower it is, it's basically I can sell anything to anyone. To understand sales psychology, all of this stuff at a very deep level, but it's like I didn't understand the tools and the psychology as a young one. It's just like you absorb it, put it into practice, and it becomes automatic. Went to uni, paid myself through university, only person in my whole extended family ever to go to university. Managed to land myself a job at the football club, Newcastle United. Started there as a strength and conditioning coach. Ended up working there for 3 years. All the while I was in uni, I was paying myself. I was working 3 jobs. So I was at uni, I worked in insurance banking, and I worked at the football club. Okay, so I don't think I had a single day off for 3 years. I'm not even exaggerating, not even Christmas Day. The insurance, the banking and stuff isn't there. So it's proper sales, hardcore sales of like insurance, house insurance, car insurance, upsells, life insurance, all this stuff, okay? And I could make good commissions off it, which basically enabled me to pay myself at university, okay? Got that job, then what? Okay, I'm trying to not drag this on too long. Anyway, I graduated, stayed on the football club. This is when I had the idea for my product. So I worked with the academy squads, and I noticed that the kids' diets were terrible. So they would just come with, the thing is the parents are responsible for the kids, so they start them young.
When did you start your brand?
I'll get to it. Not yet. So this is me just spotting the gap in the market of parents work full-time jobs, they have to do the school run, and then they have to drive sometimes 2.5, 3 hours, 4 times a week to the football club to take their kid there. So they don't have time to cook or prepare. So the easiest thing for them to do was to go to McDonald's, buy them fast food, get junk food out of the vending machine. So that was like the light bulb moment. I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this for kids where it's convenient, it tastes good, and it actually is beneficial for the kids. All right, that was like the genesis of the idea. But anyway, I basically burned out doing that. Met a guy who's still like my first mentor and literally changed my life. I was trying to see him in Dubai last week, who was working in corporate recruitment. I remember him rocking up in a Porsche. And bear in mind, I've literally come from nothing. I'm like, you ever seen Wolf of Wall Street? Only show me a check for 70k and I'll quit my job. I literally did exactly the same thing with the football club. And no one leaves the football club. That's like the most prestigious position you could possibly have. Particularly so where I'm from in Newcastle, because it's like a religion. It's mad. I started, and that was like 2 years of real, like corporate recruitment is hard. They give you a phone and a monitor, and it's a builder market, technology market. It was for Microsoft, basically. That is hard. You're cold calling 60, 70, 80, sometimes up to 300 calls every single day, trying to get clients on. You're selling the jobs to the clients, and then you're also trying to place candidates. So that was like a 12 to 14 hour day, 6 days a week. I was quite successful in it. I think I billed like $250,000 in the first year, but I saw very little of that just because of the way the commission structure works. And basically that work hard, play hard, party stuff, all of that was like early 20s, also just burned out. That mentor gave me the book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Workweek. Oh, yeah. That was the first book other than the Bible I'd ever read, literally. And I read it because I was in a place of desperation. He'd recommended it. I was on a 2-week vacation in Portugal in a 2-star hotel with my family. And I was like, right, fuck it, let's just stick at it. And then I was like, oh shit. This is what made me realize there is a way to leverage systems automation to divorce your income from your time. And it's basically using the internet, and it taught me about white labeling, all of that stuff. So this is how I then put together the product idea I had to service the market, and then, okay, how do I actually do this? Okay, so I went back, I think I lasted less than 2 weeks. And at this point, I was a manager, I had teams underneath me. I just went cold turkey, quit. I had no savings, I had nothing.
How did you do that? What's keeping you going?
Right, exactly, just like, I was literally in the shitter, and this is why I do not recommend anyone doing this. It will either make you or it'll break you. For me, I had no option but to make this a reality and do whatever I needed to do to get this off the ground. So I think I must have been in 30K consumer debt, so not even good debt. Like cars on finance, clothes, furniture, whatever. I had a nice apartment on the quayside, all of that, all of the trappings of success, if you like. The stress was acute, the hardest. I don't know if I did a podcast on Shopify Masters a long time ago. It's an interesting one to listen to because obviously it's Shopify. I don't know if you heard it, have you listened to it or not? Okay, it's the first one I ever did and also technically the biggest one. But anyway, they talk about Reid Hoffman, who's the founder of LinkedIn, gives the analogy, I might even be Richard Branson, of jumping out of a plane and constructing the parachute on the way down. That was the same process I did. So had nothing, no cash flow. I had a really good idea for the product and I was just telling everyone about it. In the meantime, I got another job in an even worse sales environment, which is energy sales. Horrific. Literally, really, energy sales. Oh yeah. No, but this is call center energy sales. Yeah, so you're selling gas and electric to corporations, and that was worse. That was 600 calls a day, just getting told to fuck off left, right, and center. So that's what I was doing to prop up. In the meantime, I was telling everyone I could about the business idea. A friend of a friend came to me, was like, "Oh, my dad's just stole this company. He's interested in investing." I'm like, "All right, I've never done it before, but yeah, sure, I'll meet him." Somehow I walked out of that meeting with 10K, okay? And that was the most amount of money I'd ever seen. I don't know if it's money laundering or what, I've got no idea. But it was straight in the account, but he made me sign some weird stuff to get it in on VAT stuff, so he was definitely shifting cash. But anyway, this now gave me a lifeline, and this is when I went on this journey of trying to develop this product, this perfect product. That took me 2 years. That's another story in and of itself. Finally launched the product. How many sales? 1 sale for my friend because he felt sorry for me. So I basically invented a food powder for kids. Okay, so think of it like a Huel or Soylent, that type of thing, where it's just scoop in a shaker, done. Easy. Tastes good, all good ingredients. Yeah, that's most nutrition stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much what I invented. But I went the most difficult, complicated route possible. I basically created this from nothing, as opposed to white labeling, which I didn't really fully understand and I couldn't do because I wouldn't have a strategic point of difference, because I would just be selling an adult product and positioning it through the marketing kit. So it had to have some level of differentiation. And the differentiation on the product is in the micronutrient profile. I don't want to bore you with it, but basically adults are either trying to gain weight, muscle, or lose weight. For kids, they go from this high to this high really quick, so it's all about structural development and growth. So it was basically what do they need that differentiates them from adults, and also what are the kind of key micronutrients they need that support growth, normal growth and development. That's the angle on the product. Okay. So yeah, 1 sale, 2 years in, and in that time I was working all sorts of jobs, just anything because I wasn't cash flowing. 10K is not enough to start a business on. All right, then that's to buy the first commercial batch, get the packaging, the design, all of this stuff. And this is when I taught myself everything, how to do everything, because I had no option. I couldn't afford to pay anyone, so I just immersed myself in it. It was difficult because back then there was no YouTube on how to start a supplement brand, or there was no mentors out there. There was no guidance. Shopify was barely a thing. Oh, yeah. So I literally had to do everything on my own and figure it out because that was the only option. So launched, realized, okay, shit, I actually have to learn how to market it, but I've got no money to market it. So I spent the next year and a half traveling the length and breadth of the UK on weekends, speaking to customers, giving them samples, and building up a bit of a customer base in person. And that's how I realized, oh shit, I've actually done this completely wrong. I had an idea or hypothesis of what this product needs to look like, how we position it, how we sell it. And then I realized strategically through speaking to the actual customers what they didn't like about it, what their fears were, what their concerns were. And then I pivoted, switched the marketing, changed the name. Then things started to go well. But even then it was slow and steady. All right, so that's what I'm saying before. I'd rather run 1,000 miles in the wrong direction than stand still. That was the mentality. And also because I have an investor, he's entrusting me to be a careful steward of his money. So I want to make sure that he at least gets his money back. Okay. So yeah, that's the long and short of how I got going with that brand. That then started to take over quite nicely. I then joined forces with my ex's dad, who was a professional golfer. He used to do club head development for some of the big major brands. Instead of doing it for them, he decided he's going to do his own. So now I've got 3 or 4 years of digital marketing. He's got 40 years of golf club head manufacturing. Marriage of skill sets, perfect. That just shot off. I think I was like 7 figures in a year and a half. But that's just applied leverage, because I had the depth and breadth of knowledge and skill sets, and he's got like however many years in club head development. So you have a very good product coupled with a very good marketer. And then other golf brands came to me like, oh, can you help us with this? Or can we see what you've done with that? And then I started managing other multiple brands. But yeah, that's like the shortest version I can give of the story. But it's been long and difficult, but a lot of learnings along the way. What's the important part? Oh shit, yeah. I wish he was lying, but I'm not. In between doing all of the driving around the country, my granddad had Alzheimer's. In the UK, the health system's shit. Even though we had private healthcare, they would like not turn up, they wouldn't give him his medications, or they would steal from him. So I was like, fuck it, I can do a better job than them, and I'm a familiar face. So for 2 years, I would go twice a day, every day, to get my granddad up, put him in the bath, wipe his ass, all that shit, all the good stuff. I was saying like there's certain things you just don't ever need to see of family members, like haunted. But again, that allowed me the space to not have to work a corporate job, because I basically just took a percentage of what the carers would take. But I lived very minimally. And this is why I was saying before, but I literally sacrificed my 20s. Literally, and I fuck knows how my ex stayed with me. Like, no holidays, no birthdays, no Christmas. We agreed not to do Christmas, no nights out, couldn't have a nice car. Lived in the same small apartment for years. So like, fair play, like, for sticking by. But that was like the level of sacrifice I had to go through, while everyone around you, who's now big house, nice car, family, and I'm just like stuck here in no man's land. Exactly, but this is why I'm saying you need to allow time. Otherwise you don't get the compound on the other side. But the thing is, struggle is guaranteed, success isn't. That's what you got to remember, right? Yeah. That's the clincher. It's like, can you be okay with that? Because there is no guarantee this flat line isn't going to continue indefinitely. Exactly. But there's also an art in knowing when to pivot and change, because if something doesn't show signs of improvement, then there's some fundamental change, and that's where the art of the pivot comes in. You don't quit, you pivot, you change. You use data, real life customer data, so you're not using conjecture. And remember, e-com is just a continual series of tests. That's it, that's all it is. Until you find the right concoction, if you like, then you're constantly just trying to see what sticks. Yes, separate conversation. You're a Bitcoin guy, right? Were you happy with how it went yesterday? Yeah, look at him, he's happy. Bro's got a new gold chain coming. Yeah, but yeah, my story. That's
crazy though.
Yeah, but I've skipped over like 99% of it. Yeah. Exactly, that's something it will either make you or it'll break you. Because like at any one point, from everything and everyone around you, it did not make sense to stick with this. Didn't make sense. So the company, I think, initially grew like 40% year on year, but like slow. I think the first year we did 25K. And yeah, the whole year. That's the classic expectation versus reality of, okay, you think it's going to be like this multi-million-dollar exit in 3 to 5 years, where actually I couldn't have picked a more difficult market. Even if I tried, I couldn't have picked a more difficult market, because I invented a product to a market that didn't exist. And this is why I got very good at marketing, because instead of selling something to someone who's aware, I basically had to present the problem and show them that there is actually a problem. So all of my marketing was education, but I didn't understand that. I was just going straight for the kill in talking about features and benefits and products and stuff, as opposed to actually, okay, here's the situation, here's how it's impacting you, this is what happens if you don't do something about it, here's a potential solution. And then constructing the offer and the funnel in a way where it actually gets resonance. That's like the key learning of it. And it's always a case of you don't know what you don't know. Yeah.
That's the opposite of if you didn't know, yeah?
If you know, you know, yeah. IYK. But yeah, long, drawn out, arduous journey. But I wouldn't change it. I'm actually grateful for it. Definitely grateful, because without any of this, I wouldn't be able to do what I do now. Yeah, absolutely. But I think I'll go extreme in this. I think success, however you define that in business, is 90% mindset, 10% execution. Because it's always, you're either battling with yourself, with some external factors, and every cell of your body at times is just quit, man. Like, you don't need to do this. There's an easier route. And if you give credence to those thoughts, it's like a mind virus, because your body craves comfort and repeatability, right? And being an entrepreneur, you're stripped of that completely. You have no safety net. And as I said before, if you don't do the work, no one's going to do the work for you. And guess what? No one's coming to save you. That's the thing. So can you be okay with that level over a sustained period of time? Like Hormozi talks about infinite games, right? Long-term games, long-term people, long-term relationships, long-term businesses, and you fall in love with the process. That's the key. Mongolia, I'm joking. You already know and understand it, right? And I can only assume, dangerous word, your marketing costs are going to be very low. I think the thing you may struggle with is distribution, supply chain, and logistics, but that is solvable, easily solvable. So if you get the supply chain in order, bro, yeah, printing, particularly so because by the sounds of it, it's not saturated. You have like blue ocean markets. Everyone understand the concept of blue ocean market space? Yeah, which means it's ripe for disruption. And you could pretty much launch anything, really.
There's a lot of dropshipping and like
In Mongolia, there's no competition. Everybody's lazy.
So they've just transited from Australia and they're like, oh yeah, my ad costs are so high. And I'm like, no, Mongolia.
Be fat, be lazy, the mindset is broken, you get sick a lot. Me, I'm built
Yeah.
Bro's a mindset warrior as well, though, right?
I lost my dad at 19, so I changed my ways.
Damn.
So since then I became a hustler.
So you came from nothing? And
Lost my dad.
And how many siblings do you have?
One sister, one younger brother, and mom got into debt with 150K. In Mongolian currency, that's a lot of money. Like that's $500 million of our money.
Jesus.
And yeah, so we came from there. So I was the only big male kid, so I had to hustle. But the thing was, I was just dancing. I was trying to make money with dancing. It didn't make sense.
Dancing?
Nobody makes money with dancing.
Starving artist.
Not people, do they love dancing there?
No, they just love drinking alcohol.
So what made you do that?
Do what? Do
Like
dancing?
dancing, yeah.
Because I was passionate about it.
Okay, that's good.
Followed my passion.
Do you still do it?
No, not at all.
Sometimes dangerous
Like
advice.
Carnegie said, I don't dance now, I make money moves.
Bang.
I don't dance now.
Oh my god, this guy.
I just want to make the money dance.
Quote of the day. Quote of the day right there.
But I thought that was your passion. So what happened?
Yeah.
I changed my passion from dancing to dancing.
Mine doesn't dance.
True. All right, anything else everyone wants to box off? Any other burning questions or roadblocks? Okay.
You're gonna sell your brand?
How do you mean? Yeah, we were just talking about that before. Exit. Yeah.
The supplement or the
Yeah.
So is it possible to white label Nutri-Teens to Mongolia?
Yes. Okay. Bro, like, the difficulty is in import-export. Import-export, yeah. It would be easier to private label, manufacture it on site. But to do that, obviously, you need to commercial. Yeah, that's the thing. It's all ingredient sources and quality. I've actually tried to move manufacturing sites 3 times and worked with numerous other ones, and it's very hard to replicate. It has a very specific taste profile. I also haven't told you. UK. I haven't told you the Dragon's Den story either, have a Shark Tank thing.
You actually manufacture in the UK?
In UK. I've tried so many times to shift and move, but it has. I don't have product to show you. It has such a specific taste profile, and the intellectual property behind the brand, we own the formulation, but the manufacturer owns the flavor system. That was the deal we had to strike in order to get some level of leverage. So trying to reverse manufacture that specific flavor profile is incredibly difficult. So we actually tried last year the Shark Tank thing because we were like theoretically going to be put in front of like 6 million people just on the live show, never mind like the trickle through on iPlayer. Our manufacturing site didn't have capacity to be able to handle that level of orders because it was also a small company. They were small anyway when we started, which is how I managed to actually get them on in the first place because I phoned 50 manufacturers and only 2 would work with us. Food industry is horribly slow, terribly slow, particularly so for custom formulation stuff. But anyway, over time, that relationship is worse. They just keep putting the prices up, the lead times get longer, all of that stuff. So like the compound of it over time is no good. So we were looking to leave anyway, and technically you have a single point of failure. If anything happens to them, it's always good to have another couple of manufacturers lined up. So we found another one. It's actually a really big brand in the UK to contract manufacture. 3 or 4 months formulation, making sure everything's taste tested, mixability. It's subjective, but we got it like almost better than the current ones. We're like, fuck it, let's do it. Put the biggest order in ever. This was the period we were out of stock. Finally got the stock, and then one by one complaints coming in from customers. This is unpalatable, I can't drink it, my kid's just being sick. This is what I'm saying, you never actually make it till you make it, bro. So now we've got the most amount of stock ever, and now all existing customers, subscribers are complaining, and then all new customers are not coming back and also complaining. Fucked.
My client told me yesterday to let me know that the product that she's currently selling, the potency of it isn't worth as it's frozen, but she's going to change her thing because she can't tell her customers.
That's the thing, yeah, it's hell.
It still works, but it's just not
as effective, yeah. We first and foremost tried to leverage the new manufacturers, and they just would not admit that the product was faulty. So we had to go back to our old manufacturers. We never actually told them that we switched, but thankfully they knew we were in talks with other ones, so I was able to leverage them and actually get prices down and also lead times and payment terms, so it actually worked out better. But in the meantime, customers just had to take the L, basically, because some new customers didn't mind it or they didn't have a point of reference, so we just had to sell through it, and thankfully we sold through it in 3 or 4 months. But the only thing we can do is just when the new stock comes, we'll just give existing customers a free one. That was the easiest thing we can do. But if everyone was complaining or it was that bad, then we literally would have been fucked. It's so risky. But anyway, like the whole thing was for nothing anyway, because the broadcast didn't even happen. Even though we got 2 investors on, we got Peter Jones, Sarah Davies on. That's another saga in and of itself. Did I tell you the story about that or not? Everyone knows Shark Tank, right? Yeah. Shark Tank.
TV program.
Yeah, it's quite big. So BBC, another BBC UK, it's their top 3 program. They have that, Top Gear and Match of the Day or something. Strictly Come Dancing, that's it. Yeah, it's like one of the biggest things in the UK. But anyway, they have a research team who does outreach to brands. If the brand has a good angle, a good founder story, and it's slightly disruptive, it makes for good TV. So they outreached, and they were like, we'd love for you to be on the show. And I'm like, absolutely not. Don't need the money, don't want it. And also, if this goes wrong, like, that's your legacy, like, nailed in. If you just get abused on national TV, you know what I mean? So I'm like, nah, it's all right. But anyway, they managed to convince us just to go along with the process, do the, better phrase, like auditions, whatever. And me and my business partner at the end were like, you know what, fuck it. Worst case, it's going to be a good story to tell when you're 80 or 90 on your deathbed. Best case, we get investment, we get like amazing press off it. So we just went with it. But anyway, that whole thing, I don't know if you've seen the English version. Have you seen it when you go up in the lift? It's all staged. It's not a real lift. Yeah. And basically they leave you in the lift for 5 minutes, sweating hot so that you sweat. It's all staged, right? The optics of it, but the actual investment pitch, you go in, you have 5 multimillionaires and billionaires sitting in front of you. You have a 3-minute long pitch that they only gave us 10 days notice for this to go in. And then you have to memorize. I went in with my business partner, so it was like half and half. Lights, cameras everywhere, camera crew running around, hidden cameras. Yeah, it's like I have investors. I know how to deal and speak to investors, but in that situation, it's one-way traffic. You can't engage or have any two-way stuff, so it's like all of the pressure's on you to deliver. But anyway, the pitch went really well. Remembered everything. I nearly lost it, but I brought it back. We were in there for an hour and a half speaking with them, because it's like they cut the stuff down to 3 minutes, but it's actually a real investment negotiation. Okay, so they're firing questions. What about this? How do you do this? Can you tell me more about this? And they all absolutely love the product. That was the good thing. Peter Jones was like, I need more. He ordered more. What's it called? Sarah, I don't know, I wasn't Sarah with them, but basically they absolutely loved the product. And they were like, this is the best tasting shake I've ever tasted. And they don't have to say that. Okay, you get one take. It's not, okay, let's do multiple things of this. You literally only get one take. Like, it's real. The only thing that's staged is just like the before and after and stuff, the interviews. So anyway, we got investment from Peter Jones, Sarah Davies, which is like amazing. Stephen Bartlett was in there. Yeah, he's one of the investors.
Oh, yeah.
For the past couple of years. That's why I say I met Stephen. He was actually the worst. He was the worst, but I think it was because he had a soccer aid thing the next day and he pulled his hamstring, so he was in a really bad mood. And also, he sits on the board of Huel, and that sits exactly. So what does he do business-wise? I don't know. What does he do?
Steven?
Podcast.
Yeah, Papa
podcast, angel investing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, but he has he has equity stake in Huel, which is a similar company but for adults. So he could not really be nice to us about the product, and his only critique was the branding looks basic. To which I said, Huel is just Huel in Helvetica. Well, I didn't want to argue on it. I was like, yeah, thanks for the feedback. You don't want to have any like friction in there. But that was his only critique. And then he was like, I have a conflict of interest with this other brand, so I'm out, which is fine. He's out. He can't. Conflict of interest, even if he wanted to, couldn't say anything nice. So he was the only one who was actually critical. So it was actually a really good experience. But anyway, that was May. The broadcast was scheduled for February, but they don't tell you if you're definitely on or off until 1 or 2 weeks before. Because apparently they play around with things if there's stuff going on in the news or there's political stuff or there's something that's like more popular, because they're all about the views, right? They've got to get high views. That's the whole point in it. That's how they get their money or whatever, the syndication money. So anyway, we were scheduled for mid-February. The week before we went on, a brand was broadcast basically pitching a cure for MS, muscular sclerosis, can't say it, and that just fucking blew up in the news for like fake advertising, or BBC's just got so much heat off it. It was like literally national press where they hadn't done their due diligence properly on this company, and now they're going and giving them like primetime TV to position this product, which like medically wasn't correct. So because that happened, so it was a massive backlash, they were like, okay, we need to pause your broadcast because we've got to get through the storm. And then 2 weeks later, they're like, this has gone to the highest thing. We cannot take any heat, and because your product falls in like a sensitive category of kids, they're like, we just can't take the risk with all of this heat at the minute to broadcast it. So you never actually end up getting the broadcast, which is it's like, for fuck's sake.
You have the recordings?
Have the what?
Recordings?
They won't give us anything.
And the investment?
The investment, so so many stories linked to this. It's actually my fault. I was stalling because I wanted to wait until after the broadcast, because we didn't want the money, we didn't need the investment. I also don't want to give any equity away. So I'm like stalling, just using the lawyers to get stuff and get paperwork and stuff. Yeah. And then Peter Jones, one of the investors, was literally like, we need this cash to be in your company before the broadcast, otherwise we're out. That was like the long and short of it. He was trying to pressure us to take the cash, because I think they know once you get broadcast, you're probably going to get better offers or whatever. So I was like, there was that, and then they wanted clauses in for them to be involved in like key decision making, key hires, key fires, and also they wanted me back in the UK. And I was like, nah, fuck that. I did not want to be in the UK. Like, I'm not gonna. I want to run this as a lifestyle or performance business, and if I do that, it's against my core principles. So then they were like, nah, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it. And then Sarah, she was still keen and still is keen. I was supposed to go to the UK to see her in October last month. But then I'm just like, need it. The thing is, even though it's not a huge amount of money, the thing they have is they have clout, they carry a lot of weight. So if you're talking about an exit value on a company, if you have them on there as a shareholder, it carries a lot of weight because they can open doors. They have like connections, whether it's manufacturing, supply chain, they have like top level designers. So that's like the force, it's not the money, it's like the force multiplier is actually them and what doors they open, that's pretty much it. So it was a mad experience though, it was good. That's what I'm saying, like put me in front of any investor now, it's okay, no problem. Like that's like the highest level of like intense pressure, because there's no conversation, it's just them, it's just one-way traffic firing questions, what about this, and you answer it and then it's complete silence. And also when you're like doing the pitch, they're like poker faced, silent, and everything's like, it's tough, man. But yeah, great experience. But anyone got any more questions on this, or do you want to wrap up? I think like too much information overload. Cool. One thing I wanted to close off on. All right, just while you've got the pen and paper, last thing. Okay, 3 things. Allow yourself to dream and think big a little bit, okay? First question, what do you want? 200 mil. So what do you want, first question. Second, why do you want it? Different. And then third question is, what's the plan to get it? But think big on this. Yeah, what's the plan to get it? What do you want? Why do you want it? And what's the plan to get it? This is another kind of visualization. And this can be across anything. It doesn't have to just be like revenue or cash flow or whatever. I'll give you a few minutes to enjoy it. Good, bro. Is this on? All right. You still got my phone? Got him. Almost, yeah. Did you get those questions?
Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to say my comment. I was in Andrew Tate's War Room before. I was in a group called New Money. There's a guy, Hassan, and I was in Capital Club. I met Luke 2 times.
Yeah.
I met a lot of people. In recent months, I was in Samuel Onihu's program. It was $10,000. He's teaching dropshipping.
Yeah.
But none of those programs give you this much of detailed knowledge.
Yeah.
Like I can tell that. And I feel like I don't know how I found you. I was just watching Obsidian's story and followed you and saw the story and sent the money. But I think it was this move that I did today was like one of the best investments that I did this year.
Thank you. Really appreciate that, bro. So good. It's funny. I've had a few comments like that because I also work with people who are in other mentorships, and the structure is just like group coaching. There's no interactive one-to-one. So I think because I'm still like getting going with this, you still have direct access to me. So it's like a good time to work together, if that makes sense. And the other thing is, my journey's been so long and difficult, and I've had to do everything myself. I've had no easy ride. Everything has been like coming up against resistance. So like the person you become through that, it's like everything I'm doing now, I'm basically teaching to myself 5 to 7 years ago. And that's the whole point in this mentorship program, is to essentially solve my own problems from back then. This is what I needed to know that I didn't know back then. And like to put an extreme analogy on it, if I knew what I knew now, 10 years ago, I'd be a billionaire right now. That's how important this knowledge is. Imagine if I knew all of this digital marketing knowledge 10 years ago when Facebook ads were popping, when no one knew what influencer marketing is, like the opportunity cost of that is crazy. That's the thing. But there will also be similar things now that like things are still relatively new that in 10 years you'll wish you'd know now, okay? And a lot of this is principles. It's always first principles. The first principle stuff 9 times out of 10 are universal. If we're talking about performance marketing, digital marketing, it always comes back to psychology, and that doesn't change. But yeah, I appreciate that, bro. It's good. But I think it seems to be quite a common thing of other mentorships don't have the same level of depth, which I suppose is a good opportunity for me to still provide and help value. With these questions, does anyone want to share or not? If not, yeah. They're really difficult questions. Remember the last mastermind I went to in Bali?
What do you want? Why do you want it?
Why do you want it? How are you going to get it?
This mushroom trip was intense.
During my seminar, I was in the seminar for 2 days. That was my first seminar. I didn't get the time to integrate because I was with my girlfriend, and then I came to birthday parties. Now, like, it was,
Yeah, we need time. For sure.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and go through it.
I agree. If there's one more thing I can leave you with, and again, write this down after you've done those questions. It's basically, what are you committing to accomplish in the next week and month? And the follow-up question is, what's the smallest next step towards this goal? So what are you committing to accomplish in the next week and month? Make sure you, like, after this, because this is information overload, take tonight or tomorrow just to integrate and try and refresh, because there's a lot. But these questions are pertinent because it'll give you direction. So what are you committing to accomplish in the next week or month? And in terms of breaking this down to bite-sized chunks, it's what's the smallest next step you can make towards this goal. For you, landing page. For you, ads. You get that, Travis? I'd like to invite you to dinner, but we literally got chefs and everything, bro. Bless him.
I've already been tossed around enough tonight, Luke.
All right, bro. Fair enough. Okay. I love it, bro. Has this been useful? Been good?
Yeah.
Cool. Any key learnings, anything you want whilst I still got you on the call? Do you want to stay and join us for dinner for more conversation?
You can ship over the steak if you want.
Okay. How do you want to do it? You want to take it?
I'm just going to shoot you over the changes to the landing page tonight.
Okay, cool.
That's about it. I know what I need to work on.
Cool. Good. Well, yeah. I think next big thing for you is just getting that LP done, ancillary pages, and then email marketing, and then we'll rock and roll. But if you put the same level of focus and attention into these other systems, bro, you're going to print.
Yeah.
For real. Literally.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that my sample is the next sample is going to be really good.
I hope so, bro. Again, it's things like that sometimes you can't control. So always control your controllables wherever possible.
Yep. These are the guys with the lower costs as well.
Yeah, but you did well negotiating that. And also, did you hear back from Shipbob or not?
The 3PL guy,
Yeah.
he sent me like half the stuff, and he said he's going to get back to me in the morning because he was like the election stuff. He was
Okay.
all day.
Okay, fair enough. I believe him. But still, they're generally not in a rush to do anything. As competitive a space as it is.
Yeah.
It's like such a key, core, constituent part of the business, but sometimes the most frustrating.
I do need to reach out to more 3PLs because I have a supplier list dialed in.
Yeah.
I need 3PLs.
Yeah, I agree.
Can you connect me to Travis, please?
Yes, Travis, do you want to connect with Milos? What's your IG? I would show you, but I'm blocked. Or WhatsApp.
My IG?
How do you guys
IG
want to connect?
could be cool,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's Trevor.
Travis.
HRTMA.